Fucking hell, mate.
Oh, what is your cat, dude?
It's a Persian blue hair. If you ask.
That cat has gotten big, dude.
Yeah, she's grown. We fed her a lot. We're pretty sure she was only like a couple of weeks
She's
old.
a fat motherfucker.
I think we're good. I think we're all live.
Why did you repeat?
Where I repeat what?
Which was your mouth? I've not heard that. Oh.
Alright, we're live. Here we go. This is Razor Zone. Welcome to the 2018 podcast. I said I was going to do. It's not with Shadow. So we got George with us now. Because things have changed.
So,
Nice. Great, thank you.
really polite intro.
Yeah, thanks for that. So, this is George. I've known him for a while. Good friend. He wanted to do this. So we thought, fuck it. Let's do it. Let's get it done. I want to get this done before the countdown in a couple hours. Unless you're in America, in which case I don't fucking know what the time zones are. Anyway, we're going to talk about internet stuff, games,
They're like
YouTube.
behind us, so it's like
Yeah.
they'll be doing this in the middle of the day.
It's going to be like early
Actually,
evening.
not really in the middle of the day, would it? It'd be like,
No, yeah, it'd be
like
evening.
early evening, so it'd be
Yeah.
like 1, 2 o'clock.
That's what it is. It's a nice sort of like beginning to the celebration, I guess, if that's what they want to do.
Yeah. Talking shit about all the shit.
But, yeah, YouTube, gaming, pretty much anything we really want to talk about. Because I know George has there's a couple things you want to talk about in particular. There's a couple things I want to talk about in particular. And but we'll get to that. We'll get to that. So I think just to get it out the way, let's talk about Article 13, because I know that's
Yeah,
kind of a
that piece of shit.
yeah, that's a thing that's happened this year. Little sort of
Yeah,
rundown.
the
if you-
idea of basically copyrighting everything that exists in life.
yeah,
What's that? Oh, you drank a bottle of water. Well, that's yours now. If anyone ever drinks a bottle of water, fuck them.
yeah. But so for those of you that if you've
Basically.
been living under a rock, or don't live on the internet like we do, Article 13 is pretty much the European Union decided to trigger Article 13, which means that copyright, which especially for like YouTube and music and a lot, has already been a bit on the extreme side, is getting even worse. And so at this point, pretty much memes, videos, commentaries, stuff like that, you may not be able to see them. Like if you're in a European
So
country.
like, if you stuff like commentary channels, gameplay channels will be damagingly
Oh yeah, people.
affected because obviously they have gameplay music playing and anything that's like that will affect them.
Mm.
That's like just a huge strike into most of their revenue because
Yeah.
most of the time they'll have to be able to include in-game audio and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And
I do feel like
video channels
YouTube.
are basically getting bumped.
I will say, like, we all know that YouTube doesn't really talk to it's doesn't talk to the people that use the website. They're very enclosed. They're very on their own. But I will say YouTube have been quite helpful in talking about Article 13 and how to avoid it, petitions,
Yeah.
information about it. I will give you that, YouTube. You can be a son of a bitch sometimes. Probably shouldn't say that because it's going up on your website later on. But you have covered Article 13 really well. I have to commend you for that. It's really good. It is really
And I have
impressive.
seen like a lot of stuff of Article 13 and like how to counteract that, like with YouTube being like, you should take these measures into helping your content creators so they can actually make money.
Yeah, they brought in the
is
support.
ironic.
They brought into the support system, so you can pretty much it's similar to Patreon, but it's on the YouTube website. So yeah.
Yeah.
I will commend YouTube for that. But even so, Article 13, it means like if you're on YouTube, sure that's fine. But what's that going to do for the rest of the internet? What's that going to do for people who are just on Twitter,
Twitch.
post memes, Twitch, exactly.
Yeah, or like a Tumblr.
Mhm.
Tumblr is going to be
Yeah.
basically just a art sharing community, and they won't be able to share art. And as soon as like Tumblr's basically taking a huge strike to its not safe for work category, not safe for work is going to be banned off Tumblr.
Mhm.
You will be
And-
playing safe for work art, which is going to be copyright strike anyway, so there's going to be a massive restriction of what you can actually do. It's going to basically just ruin stuff like Imager, um, Tumblr. Tumblr's going to get massively affected because it's just art. And
Yeah, DeviantArt as
people
well.
talking about
DeviantArt
stuff.
might get hurt.
Even
by that.
that, yeah. A lot of and it's basically Article 13 to help people who are trying to make a living off making art and then getting their shit stolen all the time.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of that, like, oh, but you put it on the internet, so it's free, and you can't do anything about it. Like, yes, I can sue you, but I'm not going to, because I'm going to give you the benefit of doubt, maybe you didn't know. And it's like,
Yeah.
those people that actually do that, it's like, you need to realize that everything isn't about you.
Yeah, I will say that, like, Article 13, it's similar to a lot of things. Its heart is in the right place. Like, people want Article 13 for the right reasons, but it's gonna have massive consequences that people aren't considering that are gonna hurt.
Article 13 has much more cons than those pros. Like, pros are obviously quite big in the fact that it helps people, but there aren't a lot of them compared to the fact that, like, you know, what's that? Oh, you report on the news on YouTube. Like, you stuff.
Yeah, and I was like,
You're using someone else's content to talk about something or discuss a problem with the website, and it's, if your whole source of income is using YouTube as a thing, but you're using commentary and stuff like that, that's not going to skip around. Like, normally it skips around the Copyright Infringement Act on YouTube, but Article 13 doesn't use that. It's basically just completely thin. It completely undergoes that because it's someone else's thing and goodbye.
Yeah, I mean, it does completely go, like, against and, like, in aggression to the fair use agreement and the act of fair use on websites such as YouTube and DeviantArt, who people like Keemstar, like, need in order to create their content. Because I'll admit, like, Keemstar, I know that on YouTube he sort of sees the weasel, the gnome, the rat, the whatever. I will say, well, I'm not 100%
he's never had that good of a rep, but at the same time, it shouldn't be the fact that his job gets immediately targeted because of a law that isn't really all that well thought of. You know, they've left so much of it vague that it's quite easy to manipulate it.
Yeah.
And even though like I said, for the YouTube has made that the YouTuber situation, there is that area of they're clearly benefiting the most. If you think about it, they're not giving all the money you get straight away. Like, Patreon doesn't do the same thing. Patreon takes a small cut of it, but YouTube's going to be taking a small cut of it too.
Yeah,
But if you look at the comparison of the amount of people that use YouTube and the amount of people that use Patreon, if the YouTubers' money is being basically taken away and they're solely relying on the support and the occasional bit of money they make from their videos, then YouTube's gaining a lot more money than what they normally would have, and so they're benefiting quite a lot.
Yeah. I mean, it is just
media streaming services and stuff.
Yeah, it is
much more.
It's a giant molehill. It's a giant rabbit hole. However people want to see it.
Yeah.
The point of
it's just another government law that's being added in that's just going to make big companies bigger and small people smaller.
Yeah.
Because it's going to take more money to help out people that you like, while the big companies are still like, yeah, but just give me a bit more money.
Yeah.
We don't have enough.
I mean, YouTube are obviously doing it because they are a website, they want money, they're a business, like that's the end goal. But I will say, they took steps in the right direction to try and support. It was a big move.
Obvious major corporation, and they've always been known for, you know, just, we can make money from this.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. But like, I will say, whether it's a secondary thing, it is one of, like, the best things YouTube have done for the community in terms of, like, trying to support their creators. Sure, there might be something underneath the veil that they don't want to talk about, but going off surface level, YouTube have actually done something that can benefit their users and actually support the people.
It
on
does
their
benefit
platform.
people. Yeah.
Yeah. So I will
Yeah.
like YouTube.
Because
You
the
might be doing it for
phase
your own
isn't
money.
in effect at the moment.
Yeah.
But the support system is. People are still getting money at the moment before Article 13 comes in, but at the same time when Article 13 comes in, it's just a major oof.
Yeah, but I will say, YouTube, you might have something going on underneath. You're doing it for money. We all know you are. You're a company. You're going to do it for money because at the end of the day, a balanced checkbook is pretty much what we all go for. But I will say, for whatever reason you did it, you've done a good thing. Which is a really good thing to say about YouTube, because it gets a bit fucked up every now and again. And
Yeah. YouTube doesn't exactly always benefit.
Yeah.
The important people.
I like to give them the benefit of the doubt. They're running a website, which is difficult to do sometimes. I understand that.
Yeah.
But like this is
at the same time though, there's a lot of favoritism, and that is apparent on YouTube. There's a lot of favoritism of character, like people and content creators that have argued with YouTube's laws in the past, and then there's content creators that completely go with the flow and act oblivious to anything that goes wrong, and then just go, yeah, but we'd like money, so. And then YouTube's like, well, yeah, because you have no problem with it, so we have no problem with you. Money!
I mean, it is all to do with the controversies and stuff with YouTube, which we'll get into a little bit later in the podcast, because obviously it's 2018.
Yeah.
I want to talk about a lot of stuff that's happened in 2018, because it is literally, let's talk about 2018. So,
well, a good thing to talk about would be the PewDiePie, which is T-Series thing, because that's a big thing that's wrapped up towards the end.
Yeah. Towards
the end of YouTube.
Towards the end of the year. I like to think it's not the end of YouTube, because, like, you know.
Yeah.
I jumped on the boat as it began to sink, and that's not exactly
I love
useful.
my hydraulic press videos. You know?
Yeah, those bloody corn and
but at the same
videos.
So the YouTube versus T-Series and the whole controversy of YouTube of news reporters talking about how PewDiePie's trying to exploit fans into getting more money when it's true, it is benefiting thing, but it's
of course it is.
It's not like it's a bad thing. He's getting money, but at the same time,
people wouldn't do it if they didn't want to.
Yeah, people wouldn't do it if they didn't want to. It's not like they're going, oh, PewDiePie said to, well, we must do it.
Yeah.
Or
it's not indoctrination.
They're all like, it's something funny. You know, it's something funny. It's something to do. It's something active. It's including a whole community of people that have loved the content creator for many years and now are managing to find a way to engage with them. And that's what it is. It's engaging with something that you love in a positive way.
Yep. And I mean, like, a lot of it wasn't
at
even
the same time,
PewDiePie. A lot of it has been exterior YouTubers, like Mr. Beast is like the one that comes to mind. He's been doing massive work for PewDiePie.
Yeah, Mr. Beast, the guy that spends thousands of dollars in advertisement on trucks to support PewDiePie. You know? It's like if anything, not only a legend but just an absolute mad lad.
Yeah, but, like if anything, Team PewDiePie is losing money because it's not getting like YouTube. Like, there's something I want to talk about a little bit. As we're talking about PewDiePie, I want to talk about the expanded stuff as well as the whole T-Series fight thing that's going on. But like, PewDiePie released his own YouTube Rewind, because YouTube Rewind, we'll talk about it in a little bit in a bit more detail. But to be quite blunt, it wasn't very good YouTube. It was like the worst one you've made in a while, and you've made 2017 YouTube Rewind.
Just 8 minutes of pandering to everything.
And there's a lot. We'll get into it more later. But the main point is PewDiePie made a YouTube Rewind of his own that was, in his own words, and I agree with this, an actual rewind. And like, it didn't get on trending.
Yeah, because it was. It was a rewind of everything that's happened throughout the year that's had controversy, that's had
publicity,
that's been popular, like
the deaths of celebrities like Stephen Hawking and Stan Lee. Yeah, and
you
like,
know, and it hasn't received trending due to YouTube solely not wanting to, because it's quite clear they're not a fan of PewDiePie.
Yeah, I want to make it very clear
about PewDiePie.
Yeah. But I want to
And
make it very
it's
clear
like,
that
you know,
you go. You talk. You do your thing.
Go on,
I'll
no,
come
go
in
on,
a
go on,
minute.
go on.
I wanted like when it comes to trending,
Okay.
it's not like who gets more likes on a video or who gets the most views. It's about who brings in. It's a lot of things. It's who brings
It's an
in
equal
the most.
balance of who has a lot of likes
Yeah.
and who you know
The
who's
interaction from the
followed
website.
YouTube rules a lot more.
Yeah.
And that's why videos that are like, they might not even have the amount of likes as something else
Yeah.
at the same of the video, but will reach trending because it's more positive to YouTube.
Yeah.
And the YouTube Rewind is obviously not going to be trending because it's like an obvious Mickey take of YouTube. YouTube created a long ass video of them just pandering to show that, look, yeah, we like people too, and it's just clearly 8 minutes of advertising
Yep.
of how in depth YouTube is to the population, but PewDiePie makes was it 6 minutes? I think the
Something
video
like
was
that.
5, 6, 7 minutes. Yeah, something like that. Of just, this is what actually happened this year in something fun, and it wasn't just PewDiePie.
Oh no, a lot of people were
creators
involved in that.
Grande, Dolan Dark, and I think it was Bunny Ears. Was it Kitten Ears? Like, I can't remember his
Something
name.
like
I'm
that.
gonna
Yeah.
find out.
Something.
Professionalism at its finest.
Well, this is the first
But
one.
it was those were the three main creators in the video, and it's quite clear that a lot of effort was put into it. It was really well done, but it's not going to make trending because
Yeah.
it's taking the piss.
Yeah,
of
I'm
the
looking
website
at
because
it
they made
now. I'm
they
looking at
made
it now. The
penalty.
video was 5 minutes and 5 minutes and 30 seconds long or thereabouts. What did it hit? What did it get? It got quite a lot. Like, it was the main people in it, which is the focus. Flying Kitty, Grande, Dolan Dark, and
That's it,
Party
Flying
in the
Kitty.
Backyard. Party in the Backyard as well. Had a lot to do with that.
Probably that was the guy that made the music, right?
Yeah, he did the audio soundtrack for it.
Yeah.
And in terms of likes, I can't see it. 'Cause
I
I've
feel
done-
like I think I've heard some of his music, in fact.
Yeah.
And some of the stuff that he's created, and it's pretty good.
Yeah, it is. It got
But, like,
50,000 dislikes, 6.4 million likes, and it got 29 million views. But obviously, YouTube trending
Yes.
in the old days, it wasn't just about views or like how it was also about
about
who brought
likes.
in. Well, not only that, but it was also about who brought in viewership from both your subscribers, but other people as well. And there was a video that not a lot. So say I did a really good video that I've got, say, 20,000 subscribers, but I get 1 million views. That would most likely be on trending in old YouTube. It probably wouldn't. It might be at this point, but it probably wouldn't be. But the whole point. But yeah, PewDiePie and YouTube don't like each other. But still,
Because
PewDiePie.
of it's true, PewDiePie's made some major oopsies.
Oh yeah,
But
there's
a lot of
been
those oopsies were made in comedy and have been blown out of proportion by so much. The bridge episode was kind of yeah, I shouldn't have done that. But at the same time, it's been described. It's like the same as Countdown Killer, and the fact that Countdown Killer made a
I want to talk
really
about this. Yeah,
messed up
yeah.
joke.
This
Messed up
was what I
joke,
wanted to talk
but
about.
at the same time, it was made
As a joke, and it was
in the
publicized
context
as a
of
joke.
his girlfriend had a pug that she thought was cuter than anything in the world. So, Countdown Killer wanted to make it so that pug wasn't as cute as she seemed.
Yeah.
So he made it into a Nazi, which is the whole joke. It's not the fact that he
I'm
hates
chuckling
Jews,
at
it's
it now
anti-Semitic.
because it's like the whole thought of a pug being
It's
Nazi.
still a funny. It's
Yeah,
still funny.
it's a stupid thing.
It's still a funny situation of a small fat animal that barks at almost everything and eats its own ass 24/7, turning around and sea tiling.
Yeah.
You know,
It is.
an animal that has no knowledge of what it means, but still does it
Because we've told it.
you know, it was taught that, and now it's gone from the girlfriend thinking it's the cutest thing in the world to now being one of the most hated dogs in the world.
Yeah.
For some amazing reason.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's kind of like I said, it was a fucked up joke, but the context matters. When you take the context out of a joke, it ruins the joke.
Yeah.
The whole, like, the original joke, knock, not across the road chicken joke. You know,
Oh, that's been done to shit. There's so many.
The whole context is because that chicken wants to die, so it got to the other side by killing itself on the road. When you take that context out, it's just a chicken killing itself on a road.
Exactly.
That it ruins
a lot of people won't know that, by the way. Some people might learn that from this. Be like, oh shit, that's what the joke means. I knew what it meant.
What day was it when you found out that the chicken wanted to die? It was the day.
Yeah, it was the end of 2018. I was watching some twats live.
It was now day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the 31st of December 2018.
Yeah. Or whenever I upload this, it'll probably be like the 2nd or the 3rd, depending on when I can be bothered. Because it's New Year, so I'm staying up late tonight and hanging out with my good friend George and doing some shit.
Ooh, saucy.
Yeah.
Staying up late, big boy.
Yeah, Rule 34 exists. Oh wait, no it doesn't, because Article 13 exists. But yeah, no, I like it.
And the law that's passing in April of 2019, the porn is going to, the whole Rule 34 reminded me of how porn is going to need verification of
age.
Adults of age with
verification of adult. Someone put that on a t-shirt. I will. You know what?
Look,
if someone makes it, I'll pay for that t-shirt. If somebody, I will pay for that.
I do the angle talk very good.
Yeah, you do.
I do the angle talk very better.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
So
much good. Very well.
You know.
Yeah.
That which is actually pretty good. I think that putting in an actual verification system on porn sites is a smart idea because
only all the teenagers are going to be up in arms, but
a lot of minors. Yeah. 14-year-olds, man, you know, just sitting in class going, I got to do GCSEs.
They want their like.
Not anymore, mate.
They want their lesbian kissing, and so they're not gonna get it. But I mean, like, honestly, it's one of the things I wasn't really gonna bring up because I don't really care about it. Believe it or not, I don't care about porn that much. If they ban porn or censor it or whatever, I don't care. It's not the end of the world. It's like there's real people out there that we can all have fun with, but yeah, I know. Yeah, I guess it is something that got announced recently.
It's still something that's happening. So, you know,
yeah, might as well mention it.
2018.
I like how we were talking about T-Series, and this is where it's got us. Let's go back to T-Series and finish off this little segment.
I mean, Indians do like that porn.
Yeah,
and all that.
I'll take your word for it. But the main question I wanted to ask about this whole T-Series thing, trying to get back on track before I get demonetized without even being monetized in the first place, because knowing YouTube, that's going to be a thing in 2019. I bet my bottom dollar. But the whole T-Series thing, it's the question is, with the whole advertisement of PewDiePie trying to maintain #1, I'd like to say that he's kept it at this point. Like,
I mean, he's a mill ahead. He's a mill ahead because of YouTube's amazing algorithm of removing old subscribers. T-Series, who are clearly using VBots, they went up by 9k subscribers in a minute.
Yep.
You know, so it's obvious the VBots and not VBots, sorry, subbots are a case.
Yeah.
And so YouTube's algorithm removed a shit ton of subs from them because they weren't active subs.
Yeah. And PewDiePie only lost like 20k, didn't he? Something like that. Like.
Yeah, PewDiePie lost like 20k of old subs.
I don't really care anymore.
T-Series recently lost like thousands. I think it was like a couple 100k.
Yeah, thousands and thousands and thousands.
If not 500k thousand subscribers because of the fact of old subscribers and they're using subbots. And so PewDiePie went from neck to neck to
a million
1
ahead.
mil.
But yeah, I like to
now-
think because it's slowing down now. The subscriptions are slowing down on both sides. To be fair, I like to think that PewDiePie has secured his spot as number one. My question for you, George,
And
is there's
to
a
be
big
fair, he is already number one, and he's gonna
Yeah.
stay number one because of the fact that there is a lot of channels that have passed PewDiePie in subscribers, but they're all music and businesses.
Yep. This was my question.
And businesses aren't really channels because the
Yeah.
point of the reason why PewDiePie is so supported as a content creator and being the most subscribed is because he's still one person. He's
Yeah.
got editors and stuff, but he's still one person in front of the camera.
He's the
doing his thing.
he's a personality rather than
I
a
know.
business. And this was
Yeah,
my
he's a
question to
personality.
you.
And so
My question to you was going to, I guess we've already answered it, but like the question was going to be, like, say for instance T-Series did take over number one, do you think T-Series being in that proclaimed number one spot is right, or do you believe
No!
that PewDiePie should be the one in that position?
T-Series is just a business. T-Series is literally just a business coming along, and it's not even they're not even legitimately using the site. They're using subbots, and that is quite obvious in the fact that they're doing that. And so even if they do pass him, like everyone knows it's not real, it's not legitimate, but no one really cares about how legit and how it's gonna happen, and the fact that they're a business. People are just having fun in the controversy and the effect of it, because you know, even though everyone realizes it's a company, they're abusing the system, and you know they're gonna pass it anyway at some point. People still enjoy the fact of, well, there is that runner-up and there's that like that chase, because it's something to talk about. It's something to talk about.
I mean, we're talking about it right now.
massively
We're
subscribed
using it
YouTuber,
right now.
One person. Yeah. I mean, we're doing it right now, so fuck it. Of one person getting beaten, even if it wasn't by a business, if it was by another YouTuber, Jacksepticeye kind of comes out of nowhere as pot of gold. And
I mean,
takes over PewDiePie.
he hit like
People
he hit
fucking-
his next milestone
people
recently.
fucking-
So
smash the shit out of, you know, just publicity and jokes and memes, and that's another thing. The memes were fucking great.
oh yeah, but I
Oh
mean,
my God.
and like not even the memes off of that, but the memes off the stuff that's come of it, like Mr. Beast, he's been memed to shit. Bitch lasagna, that's been
Yeah.
memed so much, and that's got so many amazing
Bitch
covers.
lasagna is a
Bitch
fucking
lasagna,
banger
yeah.
as well.
It's amazing. That
The
didn't get on
fucking
musical trends.
my favorite line of Bitch lasagna is, "I'm just blue as white dragon while you're just dark magician." It's like, oh,
Here comes George's true side, ladies and gentlemen.
It's a fucking loser. It's just it's a nerd reference put in a diss against a country, and the best part of it all though is it's in India, which is an Asian country, and Asia's been known to be merchandise and things like that, and Yu-Gi-Oh is made in Asia. It's made in China, but it's also made in other Asian countries.
yeah,
and stuff
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
I mean, pretty much, a lot of manufacturing comes from India and South Korea and stuff like that. And so you've got that subtle reference, but if you look deeper into it, it's basically like saying how, like, because India, like Japan made Yu-Gi-Oh, made cards, India made some of the cards, and then that insult's just coming right back at them, and it's like,
Yep.
oh, it's I just love that fucking insult.
It's amazing, but yeah. But also, I want to say, like, some of the covers that come with Bitch Lasagna. Like, there was one in our Discord server that I put in earlier. That it's some of the stuff that's come with it, and all the
The
stuff
metal
that's come
version, and I have
yeah.
not seen it. And as
You-
a
you
massive
need to.
metal
You
fan,
need-
I
it's
have
in
not
our
seen it,
Discord,
and I
look
feel
at it.
disgraced. I feel disgraced.
Yeah,
I
it's
feel fucking
well,
disgraced. I'm
it's
gonna
all
watch
like
it. I'm gonna
it's,
listen to that.
yeah, it is. It's my favorite cover. It's like a mixture. I might link it in the description because I think the guy is amazing. It's
My
all like
favorite metal cover
it's
of
like- it's-
regular songs is
yeah.
the metal cover of "Look What You Made Me Do" by Taylor Swift, because there's a YouTube video of it's like a you know how in Guitar Hero they have like
oh yeah.
fan-made songs. There's meme songs and meme charts of songs. So there's a Metallica one with it has Taylor Swift singing the original song, and then when the chorus comes in, it has the metal version.
Nice.
And when I found that, I watched that shit back to, but I listened to the shit back to back because of the way it switched, like what you made me do, and then I was like, oh.
Yeah, definitely.
It's
a great one. It's a great one. But yeah. But yeah, so that's pretty, like, there's not much more to talk about with PewDiePie or T-Series. We've pretty much covered it all. Like, my main question has been answered. I will say, I do feel like PewDiePie deserves to be in the #1 spot because he's been doing it for so long. He genuinely cares about his fan base and all that. And it's just love and generosity. And while the community, to some people, might be a bit on the offside, I think it's just a load of people enjoying the internet, which is what we want. We just want people to have fun on this place we call the internet and have a good time. And it's...
Why would you go on the internet to not have fun?
Exactly. And so I think that's all this is, and people have made public out of it, and people have made from it, but I feel like at heart it's just us having a bit of a joke about India, and how they just got the internet recently for the proper sort of full fiber optic shit, and yeah, welcome India, you got beaten by a Swedish person. Fuck you.
India gets beat by meatballs and IKEA.
Yep. Honestly, everything gets beaten by meatballs and IKEA. Because they are the best. And anyone who disagrees with that, I'll invite you onto the next Let's Talk so we can all have a debate about that. But jokes aside, right, what else has happened on YouTube this year? I don't think we have to mention it right at the beginning of the year. We all know what happened with Logan Paul. We all know what happened with the Suicide Forest. I don't want to spend ages on this because we all, like, it right at the beginning of the year. It's been covered to shit. Yep. But, I just want to quickly say, Logan, like, I know it's all been done before. I know it's sticking up old shit. Like, you're still an idiot. You're still doing random shit. And you went into a fight with KSI. To try, like, people say, oh, it's to clear up from the Suicide Forest. I don't think it is. I think that all got cleared up and shit pretty fucking easily from the whole Shane Dawson.
The Suicide Forest shit got cleared up. The fight was to make him look good again.
Yeah.
Is what I think. Because it got cleared up and people forgot about it and it was like, okay, we forgive you, it's a dumb idea, but still, we'll forgive you because even though you are an idiot and you've done some dumb stuff, we still love you. And
I will say,
like, I comes around, and it was like to put in the good books again, but it still didn't.
It didn't. No, because I'll say, like,
there was some stupid shit done.
Yeah, and those pre-match talks that they had, I forget the name for it. I'm not a boxing person, but like
conference calls.
The conferences. There you go. That's why you're here, George. But yeah, all the conferences and shit, just, like, that didn't help his cause. I mean, the one in the UK, man, I think it was in Manchester, wasn't it, where he cried and left the stage. People are like, oh, he cried and whatever. You gotta remember, the guy's an actor, he did it for publicity, blah blah blah. But the one in America, what the fuck was going on there? Like people can meme True Geordie and shit, and people can say, oh, he's this, that, the other, and the shit that happened where, like, he might not have refereed the fight or whatever. Well, not refereed, but, like, been at the fight and moderated and shit. But at least he tried to get control on that stage. He didn't do very well, but he fucking tried. What was going on in LA? Like, that conference was just...
Hey, you're throwing your paper plane. Stop it.
There it is. We knew it was coming. But, I mean, I don't want to spend too much time on it. What I do want to say... What I do want to say about the fight, why the fuck was it pay-per-view? Why the fuck was it
pay-per-view and then end it in a tie?
Exactly. Like there's a debate where it's like, oh, was it rigged? Was it not rigged? Yeah.
Fucking major level stuff. I mean, it's a YouTuber boxing match. It's not like the whole thing was really. Obviously, the Deji versus Jake Paul was real, but it was.
I believe that the KSI
showing and.
Yeah, I think KSI Logan Paul. You guys can fucking at me or whatever. I think it was rigged. I think it was staged. I think it was all planned.
It was obviously like it's a case of wrestling where all the runners up and stuff are like they're free matches, do whatever. But the main match is
you want to make it big
because it's the one that everyone's looking forward for. Everyone's there for. Everyone's here to see KSI fight Logan Paul. To see see Logan Paul get beat up, see the KSI get made, and they were like, oh yeah. We want to see our favorite YouTuber. You can do it.
Yeah, and
So,
what it was like
end in a tie.
I think it's easy to say that was the
obvious.
biggest. Sorry, you go.
That was the biggest disappointment out of all of it, and also it was probably the whole point of it was to like, oh, so then both sides don't get it because one side.
No,
wanted
you
to...
see, I think I know why it was. I think I genuinely know why it was. Because before this, YouTube were in this shit because the stuff with PewDiePie, the stuff with Logan Paul in the forest, all the drama that was going on, YouTube was in the bad books. This was to get YouTube's career, YouTube's reputation back out of the water. So why the fuck did you make it pay-per-view? This was inarguably, this was objectively the biggest thing that happened in YouTube history.
This is an ad campaign for why you shouldn't hate people.
Yeah.
Let's make it pay. That's like charging people to stop hating someone.
Yeah, it's stupid because this was the biggest thing that YouTube's ever done. This was the biggest YouTube event ever. It was globally covered, and you made people pay for it.
It was on live television. It had people. It was paid. It had proper staffing. It had a lot of shit, and it had sponsors. It had.
Oh, it was everywhere.
It had advertising on thing.
Hell, I live in a family.
I was watching fucking Netflix,
and there was an ad for it.
I was watching Netflix, and my sister was watching TV, and I see a fucking ad, and I'm sat there on my phone, and I look up, and I see an ad on Sky Media.
For the Logan Paul fight.
Tell me about Logan Paul and KSI. I'm like, I'm trying to watch fucking Netflix.
Yeah, but like
she's trying to watch.
Yeah.
YouTube.
But I also I live in a family where me and my brother are very internet we're like internet people. We know a lot about it.
I thought you were saying internet then.
Yeah, but my mum and her boyfriend. My mum and her boyfriend aren't like they don't know about YouTube drama. They didn't know about the Suicide Forest fiasco until I spoke about it 6 months later. Even they knew about the fight. This was so publicly made, and they made us pay for it. Which is why Twitch streamers then streamed it free, and they got fucking
There was a
taken
guy
down.
who streamed. There was a guy, I'm pretty sure he streamed the fight, but like the frame of the UFC game around it.
I made it look like the game.
Or it was also the rest. He put like he pretended that he was playing it, so that he wouldn't get taken down. The whole thing.
Oh, that's smart.
So they found out, wait a minute, this guy's not playing. But the best part is, he sat there pretending. So he's like,
he's got his controller in hands, like twiddling.
He's like pretending. He's like fully pretending. He's like he's going on.
He's like, oh god, I'm gonna lose this shit. Oh god.
How are you playing Logan Paul?
Yeah, no, he's a custom character. I made these 2 characters. This is my prediction for the fight. To be fair, with games like WWE and UFC and shit, like that shit can it's not gonna be great, but you can an attempt can be made to say it's like you're using custom characters and shit. The guy made a smart move. Like I'll give him that. Like points for effort. But I mean, like the whole fight, it was just like it was a way for YouTube to clean themselves, and it didn't make things worse, but it definitely didn't make things better for the people on the website. Publicly and in like the essence of a business, yes, they're cleaned up. People are starting to forget about the Logan Paul fiasco, the KSI shit that happened right at the beginning of the year, where he was talking about mental health and stuff. I don't want to get into that because mental health is something that I care about a lot, and I will talk about it for 3 hours unstopped, and not even George can stop me. But I feel like in terms of the business,
I haven't been able to.
Yeah, everyone's been able to, that's been cleared up, but on the website everyone was up in arms about it for a little while. It's all simmered down, but I still think it was a bit of a stupid move, and yeah. I praise YouTube for Article 13, they're back in the bad books of the fight, there you go. It's gone full circle. But yeah.
Speaking of another thing with YouTube.
Oh, here we go.
The whole
TanaCon.
TanaCon. Oh my god.
Yeah,
that was a thing. That was a thing.
And it's Shane Dawson got involved in that. Like, shit,
Yeah,
that was a lot of stuff.
Shane Dawson's gonna be there, and then like.
Yeah. What I will say, right, Shane Dawson, like this entire year, he's been doing a few different documentaries, whether it was like the big Jake Paul one that everyone watched, or it was like a couple of the smaller ones.
It's
that he
Jake
did, like
Paul
the
with sociopath. And then there's
Oh
like,
god, we can talk about
the things.
Yeah, we can talk about that's an
Read
entirely
the
different
things.
thing. That's an
He's
entirely
the
different ball
sociopath
game.
because he eats his eggs raw.
Oh my god. Maybe Jake Paul is how to basic.
Bastard.
That's it. Maybe Jake Paul is how to basic.
No, that's Markiplier. It's Markiplier. He was so intense about it. It was pretty much.
I mean, Mini Lad was pretty fucking intense with that shit. The guy with like the red and black squares in the background. That actually, yeah. But yeah, I mean that's not a big thing with YouTube. It's like,
Vsauce Michael here.
A little secret: George is actually how to basic. He's like the #1 Welsh YouTuber. He's how to basic, but there you go.
Yes.
Sorry, I've ruined your cover.
Sorry about that.
He was actually dressed up as
I'm
Markiplier.
fucking eggs.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah. What were we talking about? Tanacon. There we go.
Tanacon.
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 That fucked up.
It was literally like, oh, what's that? You pay thousands of dollars for surprise thing. Hey, have a condom.
Yeah.
Like the
like,
surprise goodie bag for paying multiple hundreds of bucks.
20,000 people were there. 20,000 people. It was confirmed that it was
20,000 people.
20,000
people. In
it
the bodies of 5,000.
It was It was about 5. Like I think
it was 5,000 people.
Yeah.
But
and there was like 1,000 in the.
20,
there was 1,000 in the
20.
venue and like 4,000 outside, and about 20,000 in the fucking hospital, because the 20,000 that were there died of sunburn.
Died of sunburn. Exactly.
Because
they showed that.
Where was it held?
in
Like
lines for so
California?
long because
It was California. Wasn't it?
yeah, it's California in summer.
You're going to get people
That shit
killed.
reaches heat.
I was
that,
in Florida in the summer, and that was bloody. I know they use Fahrenheit in America because America's backwards when it comes to temperature, but like it was about 30 degrees
America
Celsius.
doesn't use the real system.
I mean, come on,
They use
who
the imperial
uses
system.
Fahrenheit?
We use
I
the
think
metric.
there's like 20
Metric
countries.
system.
Think about how many countries there are. There are 20 that use Fahrenheit. I'm pretty sure. I should look that up later. But yeah, Tanacon, what the fuck are you doing?
Now.
Yeah, but while he does that, yeah. But they were used to like
It
Shane
was
Dawson.
quite clearly a money grab.
Yeah, but it
Like
was.
they were saying like, oh, you can get free tickets, but you'll die of sunburn.
I mean, I'd do it.
Or you can pay me lots and lots of money
Yeah.
and get VIP and still die of sunburn, but you've paid me money.
Yeah. And I'd say I didn't watch the Shane Dawson Jake Paul documentary for the full way through, part because that was 8 parts, and partly because just like I got tired of Paul's at that point, what with the fight and shit and everything going on. But like I watched the Tana Mojo one, and I think it's very easy to say whether or not Tana was faking the reaction or her her administrator or director or whoever that was faking it. Well, I'd like to say that Shane, I like to think he was genuinely upset and distraught by everything that was going on, and people were promised that Shane would be there and he wasn't there. He was at VidCon, or well, I'm not sure if he was at VidCon, but he didn't see everyone that said was gonna see him, and I want to commend Shane for the stuff he did for the fans, and he's always been someone for the fans. He's made jokes here and there. There was a whole pedophile accusations, which were stupid, and we're not going to talk about them because fucking hell, they were an entirely different ball game. But Shane cared about his fans, and what the whole Tana Mojo shit that was going on with that, Shane went about it the right way, and I want to commend him for that, because even being friends with Tana, like, he addressed the situation, not in the best way, but it was there, and thank you, Shane, for making an attempt. And keep doing what you're doing, mate, because honestly, it's pretty good. Anyway, George, what we got for Fahrenheit countries? Because you said you were going to let that up.
1 second. I think that's really slow, mate.
Yeah, that's fine. He's in Wales, so it's fine. We'll get the
If you
Fahrenheit.
first sheet.
Yeah, pretty much. But I think we talked.
Oh, countries that use Fahrenheit.
There we
Here we
go.
go. Okay. Fahrenheit remains the official scale for the following countries: the Bahamas, Belize,
1, 2,
Cayman Islands,
3,
Palau, the United States, and Associated Territories, Puerto Rico, Guam, the U.S. Virgin Islands.
7, 8. That's like
That's
8.
it.
That's like 8, 9, 10. That's like 10 countries maximum in the
That's
entirety of
5
the globe.
countries and 3 islands
Oh yeah, there you go.
use the metric system, also the imperialistic system, whereas the rest of the world uses the metric system. But America is still adamant on the fact that imperialistic is better than metric.
Look, America, you can have
No.
America, you can have pounds and stuff. You can have gallons instead of liters. You can have whatever you want. Just change your temperature, because water freezes at 0 and boils at 100, not 32, and whatever the hell it is, the other side. Like it was made to fit. Just
Yeah.
God.
And the fact that when American people argue the fact that yes, but the imperialistic system was made to fit modern day society. Really? Really was it? Because everyone else has been used to the old system, and it's quite obvious it's not going to change. So get with the times.
Yeah.
as the
I mean,
old
I mean, I don't want to say like I hate America.
America.
I don't hate America.
bunch of teenagers.
I've got a lot of friends in America, and like, I don't hate
I've always
America.
described America as the teenager of countries.
Yeah.
At the start of them, they didn't like the fact that they were under their dad's law, so they got their friends.
Yeah, they got a little
They got their
flat
friends to say "fuck you, dude," and they got their own flat, and now
or
they
apartment.
continue to
Sorry, I'm not gonna.
they continue
I love you,
to
America.
shout "fuck you, dad," while saying "yeah, we're the best, we're the best." You know, just that teenage ego of "yeah, fuck you, everybody, we're the best."
I mean, America's got
Well-
some. America does. You do have some nice stuff. Just trim the fat. That's not an obesity joke. That's not. No, that's not an obesity joke.
You sure
It's
about
like,
that?
it's not.
Sure.
It's not intentionally. Alright, you know, just clean. Alright, just clean underneath. Just clean all the little bits, and you just sort out a few tiny things.
Yeah.
And you're fine. Okay. Everything else you can do. Just fix a couple of things, and you're fine. Right. I've had enough about talking about YouTube. George, is there any last things you want to talk
Yeah.
about before we move on?
Well, actually, there was one thing,
Alright.
small thing
Yeah, no, we can do this.
that
It's fine.
I remember about, which was Emma Chamberlain, which was more recent about her, the fact that she ran a merch, she opened a merch site, and she said that she lists all the prices, all the t-shirt names, all the merch names, everything like that, but blurred out all the pictures, and there was like, I think there was only like one or like a really restricted amount of sizes.
I didn't
And
actually
so
know about
if
this.
you didn't
George
like,
was the one that told me
if you
about
couldn't
this.
fit the size, if you couldn't fit the size, and you didn't like follow the massively blurred image you get of a yellow smudge on a person's body,
Could have been
then
anything
the
other than
merch
that, to
is
be
for
honest.
And so people basically paying $40 something dollars or $60 something on
For something
what
you
appeared
can't
to
see.
be
you
a
don't know.
shirt.
Yeah. I didn't know about this, but now I'm
Like-
here. It's just another YouTube money grab thing, isn't it? That's what YouTube
Yeah.
just
And
YouTube
people,
wants money and the
obviously there was a lot of backlash for it, and she didn't want the backlash. She did not want the backlash, and no one wants people having a go at her on the internet.
No.
That is obviously like some people can handle it, but no one wants it as an outcome. No one goes on the internet just to get shouted at, unless that's something what you're into. Then like no king shaming.
Yeah. This
But you know. So obviously a lot of backlash came at her, and she did not want that. And so there's a lot of evidence of him like getting harassed for this, and it's something that shouldn't happen. People should harass you, but people should bring up on the shit, and people were bringing her up on the fact that she was running a merch website without showing the merch.
Yeah, I like it's getting that balance. You want to make sure the criticism is heard, but you don't want it to be a one-sided argument. You want to make sure that they understand the situation and they understand the concerns, but you don't want to go out witch hunting.
From someone her main channel is daily vlogs and makeup and beauty and stuff like that. And
so that's what she's running off.
When you see her thing and you see, oh, my merch is made by so and so, so I think it's really good, so you guys should probably think. That's when, like, the phrase of someone on YouTube as an influencer is someone that's the dumbest. One of the dumbest titles to give to someone. Not only that, but in some cases it is too true. In the case of Emma Chamberlain going, well, I'm selling this merch, I really like it, I think you guys really like it, and then her diehard fans are going to go buy it. But
yeah,
it's costing as much as high-end clothes without even seeing what
like,
it is.
yeah, it's costing us, like I'm looking at I'm looking at screenshots of the website now. There's stuff like you could buy a T-shirt for this price, or you could buy Red Dead Redemption 2, God of War 4. You could buy a load of movies.
At least that
like,
you know what you're buying.
Yeah, you could buy a nice ass. Like if I was to buy an outfit on here, I could also buy a nice ass meal. Well, I could get a nice, real nice 3-course meal, starter, main, dessert. Like with the money I spent on like 1 or 2 outfits on here, including shirts, accessories, whatever, because I'm looking at 40, 50, 60 in these screenshots. At least I don't know if that's changed, but I do agree with you. It's like you want to make sure the criticism's heard, but you don't want people to harass them. So what would you say to her, George? What would you say to Emma? What would you say to Mr. Chamberlain?
I think if you're selling merch, show people what they're buying. You don't give them a vague idea. Like, if you're buying something from eBay, everyone knows that on eBay, the photos might not be what it is, but you're banking on the fact that it is that, and so you want that. If you're selling merch to people, and your whole job is talking about beauty and makeup and stuff like that, then you, on your website, you don't show a detailed picture of what you're selling to them. You just give them a vague idea and tell them to buy it. Then that's literally telling someone to buy something. They don't even know what they're buying. They're walking themselves into a deal that they don't really know, because not only could be the case of them not actually selling what they're selling, like it could be something completely different, or the fact that they don't know what it looks like, so they're going off the vague idea that they like it, and the fact that their favorite YouTuber told them to, so they're just going to go buy it regardless. It comes in the wrong size, they can't wear it, they can't get returns, because there was apparently there was a lot of controversy about how apparently she wasn't allowing returns, so there wasn't any return policies and all that.
Oh my goodness,
they couldn't get their money back, and so people were basically stuck with this stuff that they didn't know what it really looked like, probably in the wrong size, and can't even get their money back. And you know, Emma Chamberlain is in the middle of it. You're going, well, love, to be fair, you did call it, but at the same time,
it could be the corporation.
It was also the website. The website and the corporation should have put a better picture up. It's not like there's not like there's obvious evidence that you specifically told them not to show what it is. It could be the fact that they did it, and you have to go along with it, otherwise they'll just shut down your merch.
Yeah, it's the fault of the corporation for putting her in a situation, but she also needs to handle it in the correct way and sort that situation at her side in terms of harassment and like giving back to her fans in the correct way.
If it's the company, she shouldn't be getting harassed, but she still should get criticism in the fact that it's the company. She trusted them, and if they don't deliver, or they're not delivering, but they're not giving a precise description, and a clear image of what it is, the company's at fault, but you're at fault for influencing to buy that.
Yeah.
And it's no one else's fault after that.
Yeah, I always find that when it comes to doing YouTube, you need to put both yourself and your fans first. Any business or company or sort of network that you have, they should be on the back pedal.
Especially if you're making merch, you can't just make merch and then just go, well, if they buy it, and that's their own fault if they don't like it in the end. It's like, well, that's not how it works.
You
have to make sure that no matter what, the customer is satisfied. The customer's always right.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, alright, anything else you want to talk about with YouTube? Because I've got nothing really more that I want to talk about. Like, there's stuff that we could talk about. There's the whole Daddy of 5 situation, diddly-dee. But I don't want to talk about that stuff because it's been covered a lot better. I just want to cover the stuff that, like, me and George are both passionate about, and stuff that we want to talk about.
And we know stuff about it, and it's more important, because Daddy of 5, although it was a big case, it wasn't really that big. And if you're not that deep into YouTube subculture, and you know a lot about what happens behind the scenes of YouTube, behind the rigs like Logan Paul, Jake Paul, all that stuff, Vice 11, you know, most people may not know who Daddy of 5 are.
Exactly.
So it's best to avoid it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's best to sort of like, I know about the Daddy of 5 situation, but that kind of thing for me personally, I don't want to have my name on that, because there are people that have more professional opinions than me about that, because it's a lot more based on the law and that kind of thing, which I don't really, I have the professional sort of opinion about that, so I don't feel me giving my opinion here is A, right for the case, and B, would be beneficial to anyone. So we're going to move on from YouTube. We may come back to it on a tangent or whatever, but as a main segment, YouTube's done. Question, do we want to talk about Brexit, or do we leave it? Because I can sum it up in a sentence.
I think I don't know that much on it, so if you have to talk about it,
I mean, I can, I can give you a
been
vague
keeping
rundown
clear of
and then get your opinion on it. Basically, what's happened is, for the long and short, Theresa May has tried to get a deal for Brexit, because a couple of years ago, the United Kingdom, as a collective, voted that, you know what, 2% more of the population wants to leave than to stay in the European Union. So we set in motion Article 50, which meant we would leave the EU. This year, Theresa May has been trying to get a deal for Brexit, so that when we leave, we're in a strong position economically and as a country and as a world power. Her deal wasn't very good. I won't go into the nitty-gritty of it, but her deal wasn't very good. And we have until March until we officially leave the EU. The debate that's sort of been going around a little bit now is, do we have another vote to decide whether or not we leave the EU, or whether we say, you know what, we don't want this anymore? Because the EU have said, if you want to stay in, we can just terminate all this and it'll be like nothing ever happened. So the whole debate is, do we go with Theresa's deal, which is pretty bad, no deal, which is arguably even worse, or do we have another vote and decide again whether or not we stay in the EU or we leave? Is pretty much, it's the wear and tear of it. Personally, I believe, like, the first vote wasn't very democratic, because a lot of it was based on lies, so I think, you know, fuck it, let's have another vote. We know what we're voting for now. The first one wasn't democratic, so let's just do a second one and confirm, you know? But that's pretty much Brexit. That's a lot of it has been going on. But, it's
once again,
boring.
I wouldn't be able to talk about it. I have basically no knowledge on it.
Yeah,
that's a you thing.
Yeah, I have knowledge on it, but like, it's not a massive thing, because obviously we don't know. Like, since the vote, the answer to the question on Brexit is, I don't know. No one knows. We're being told stuff. We don't know if it's true.
We're along for the ride.
Yeah, pretty much. So that's Brexit. Alright, a little we did about an hour on YouTube and
That's
about
the break
a minute
exit.
on Brexit. Yeah, there you go. If you didn't want to hear about Brexit, then you could have grabbed something or whatever. Bit late to say that now after the segment, but there you go. Right, I know you wanted to talk about something in particular regarding a certain creator of the year, didn't you? So I've had a little minute.
Yes.
George, take the stage.
Right, so the creator of the year in the Formula Award goes to Ninja, and I don't think he deserves it. In the case of what he's done this year is play Fortnite and get annoyed people. Which there's a lot of creators that put personality and stuff, and obviously I do understand that he does. Obviously, he's very interactive with his audience. At the same time, though, should the content creator of the year go to the guy who tried to get the guy banned off a game because he was stream sniping? Quotation marks. So the guy who has clear facts and evidence of him just completely, going full asshole mode on a kid just because of the fact of this kid talked a little bit of shit, and so he just went full skater, and how he would constantly just go absolutely crazy on other people playing the game, and then he got big, and then all of a sudden he's
That's a lot of things,
but he would so gladly talk about how this guy needs to get banned off the game because he emoted a minute after he killed me. He emoted because you and 3 other people were still watching him, waiting for him to emote, and so they were probably like, Jesus, these guys are watching me, so they don't dance.
That's the thing. As someone who doesn't play Fortnite, I do still know that when you die, you're on the spectator cam of the person who killed you. So whether you're streaming or not, the guy is going to see.
And then when you leave the game, you don't. But the moment you kill them, you're on spectator. So most people do a little emote the moment they kill them, just so they can see that shit. And they're like, "Oh, fuck you." But
it's like the new version of teabagging.
Stuck around with this guy for the full minute to maybe a few more minutes afterwards, keep watching for the rest of the game. This guy realized after a minute in, okay, these guys are going to watch me, so I'm just gonna dance. And then Ninja got upset because he thought that he was stream sniping, but it's not that he was stream sniping, he didn't emote a minute after he killed you, and the whole time in between you've been shouting, do an emote, finish shooting, do an emote. It's if you say it enough times and then someone does it at the end, it's not because you said so.
Yeah. So, I will say that
coincidence that it happened, and you were just there saying to do it. If you tell the sky to turn blue enough times when it's grey, and then sometime it turns blue, it didn't happen because you told it to.
Yeah.
It just happened.
But I will say Ninja's gotten big this year. That's undeniable. He's got massive this year, and there are some things that he has done.
He's gone crazy.
Yeah, and there are some things that people will commend him for, the whole thing where he pulled Kanye into the Fortnite scene. That was massive. That was huge. That was everywhere.
That was funny.
But it's a question of
Kanye in Fortnite, and then Kanye does the fucking Roblox song.
Yeah, but it's a question of do the good outweigh the bad. So George, who would you nominate as Creator of the Year?
I'd go PewDiePie. I'd do PewDiePie.
Yeah, but I would. I'd do PewDiePie.
Because even though he's done some naughty no-nos, it's not really, he hasn't done anything that bad in the case of, he's brought together
the entire
millions of
internet
people to have the laugh. And not just a laugh as in watch the video and go, haha, he made it funny in this video. No, he made he basically got a whole community together and do stupid shit for laughs.
I mean, I've literally called this thing year
Because why
review.
not?
That's a PewDiePie meme. Like
It's a
like,
PewDiePie.
I'd say like when PewDiePie first got big, it like he was sort of a staple to YouTube. When he and then over the past couple of years, he was like everyone knew he was big, but like he didn't do anything trademark. He didn't do anything massive. He was just cruising, you know. But I think this year he has created content that he wants to make. He's made a large impact on YouTube in a positive way. Because of this big thing with T-Series, going back to that, it's just like he has become a public figure to so many people. Whether you think that's a good thing or not is up to you, but you can't deny that he has. And so I agree, I'd give PewDiePie Creator of the Year, because he's brought so many people together. And even if you're just a guy on the street that someone said, oh, go on this website and press this button, yeah, sure, that's just adding numbers to his sub count. But for the people that stick around and watch every video, for the community that genuinely care about him, hey Insanity Gamers, welcome to the party. But for the people that genuinely care about him and enjoy his content, he has brought together that community. I think PewDiePie does deserve Gamer of the Year. Well, like, I won't necessarily say that Ninja doesn't deserve Creator of the Year, because I just simply don't know enough about him. But I would, if it was up to me, I'd give it to PewDiePie. So
I give it to PewDiePie. Definitely. Hands down.
Maybe How to Basic. Just so like he'd have to accept the award and we'd have to see what he looks like.
Hey, I'd love to be, you know, content creator of the year. But,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, it'd be amazing. That'd be great.
As How to Basic, I'd give it to PewDiePie.
Yeah. No, there you go. Heard it here first. Alright, so I feel like we talked a lot about YouTube, we talked a lot about the internet. So let's talk about something we both know quite well and we both quite enjoy. Should we talk about video games?
Games.
On this
A little bit. Why
on
not?
this internet and gaming podcast? Should we actually talk about some games?
Yes.
Because I will say
So
this
you doing
loud
what,
and
20
proud.
minutes?
I will say it's loud and proud to the, like, I don't care. There's been some shitty stuff that's happened in the gaming industry this year, but in terms of releases of games and quality of games, for the most part, it's been a really good year for video games.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm not gonna lie. My favorite game of this entire year has been Assassin's Creed Odyssey, simply because of I went into that game not playing Origins and expecting it to be utter shambles because of it's different to the originals, and I've been so much to the originals games. It's a different game style, it's a different combat style, everything's different. But it's still fun, and I've loved every second of it because of that change.
I love the boat stuff.
But
Like,
the similarity.
the way I see it, right?
I
This
love,
is how
I love the fuck ups.
Yeah.
I love the fuck ups in the game of just random shit going wrong, and then you're just
Yeah.
sitting there like, oh,
Ubisoft
have
have
played through fools.
yeah.
That's cool.
Ubisoft have always been good for their
Ubisoft have
glitches.
always made games that have, they have glitchy games to throw in.
Yeah. So
Great glitchy
and
games.
a lot of people have said, and like this was on the Co-optional podcast. It's been on a lot of reviews. This Assassin's Creed Odyssey is an Assassin's Creed game that doesn't want to be an Assassin's Creed game. It like
Yes. It's an Assassin's Creed game that decided, well, you know what? I'm gonna be Dark Souls. I'm gonna be Dark Souls, Assassin's Creed, and then did it.
Yeah.
Pulled it off.
Yeah.
It's not a bad game. It's a great game, in fact.
I've played parts of it. I haven't fully played the game entirely, and I haven't like gone to the end and seen the final cutscene or whatever. But I have played, and that game.
Nor
like,
have I, but I have
It's
sat
too
down
big. It's too
and
big.
played that game for 5 hours straight, just looking for fucking trees to make arrows, and still
Yeah.
enjoyed it.
Because it takes micromanaging and makes it fun. But what I'll say is, right, it's like you're playing a game, right? You know it is. You load up a game and you play it, and you load up Odyssey and you play it. I know that some people argued that like, oh, there was microtransaction stuff that people got annoyed about For me, it wasn't that bad with Odyssey, as some people have said. Maybe there was some stuff that I haven't seen, but I'm going off my experience. But like, I swear, I was so many hours into that game before I saw the title card to start with. The title card doesn't show up until like 10 hours into the game. Like, but like, and then you keep playing it, and then at some point it becomes an entirely new game, and you've got like 3 different games playing simultaneously in Odyssey. And I feel like there is something for everyone in that game. If you enjoy games, get Odyssey, because it's a great investment.
My favourite part about Odyssey is the skill system.
Oh,
Because there's an amazing way of abusing that game with pure fun in mind. And that is using archery and assassin abilities to just fucking mess with NPCs.
Oh, it's Skyrim all over again.
You'll drive into a 4. You'll drive into a 4. Ah, what's that? Ah, headshot, dude. They're over there. I know where they are. Runs to the exact location in the bush. You literally walk like 4 feet and they're like, oh my god.
Yeah, that's when it goes all wrong.
And then you just fire another arrow and they're like, holy shit, he's back. They don't think, oh, maybe he's close by.
Yeah.
No, they just fucking immediately run to the hills, go hide again while you just run to another bush. It's it, isn't it? And I'm not gonna lie, I don't really wear the stealthiest of armor. I mean, I have legit shiny ass golden armor with a Spartan helmet on with a full-on plume. And you can see that shit sticking out of a tiny little mulberry bush. And those dudes are sitting there like...
No, but George, that could be a bird. You never know. That could be a bird.
That bush is a really cool looking helmet.
Yeah.
We must find that archer.
Yeah.
And
But Ubisoft have
firing
always been
arrows.
good for that AI. What I love about it, right, there was this guy that gave me a mission, right, and he said, oh, you gotta go so-and-so eastward. But at this point, I'd had like the compass and the map off and everything, because I normally do with big open world games. I went east because like I figured out, oh, the sun's rising there and setting there, so I had and then I couldn't find the mission, so I said, you know what, I'll go on my map and have a look. The guy, like, the game sends you in the wrong direction because you're at a time where people don't really know directions. I had to go the complete opposite way. But it's the little things in that game that make it so good.
There was a guy who says, oh, please escort me to my shop. I came out to collect some resources and got attacked by some bandits. I managed to run away, but I think they're going to be chasing me. And you go, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's fine. It's just an
Okay,
adventure quest.
What does a fucking dickhead do? Runs straight into the ocean and kills himself. Like, I didn't know you went to Atlantis.
Ubisoft.
Look at you. Are you
Ubisoft.
special?
I think it's safe to say, Ubisoft, we love you. We love you so
And
much.
the game then acts like it was my fault, and I'm just sitting there like, oh, I'm the reason the mission failed. And the guy thought he was a fucking dolphin.
Oh, it's great. It's great. So yeah, alright.
Well,
that
I
was
can't
your
help
game of the year.
laughing because that is just fucking
It's
dumb.
amazing.
Yeah,
It is.
honestly, it's my favorite
Your
game.
game of the year, right? We'll get to my game of the year. I think we'll do that at the end of the stream. But there are a couple of things not so good that have happened in 2018. There have been. Don't get me wrong.
I'm wondering Fortnite being the best game of the fucking year.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But like we've had some great games: Red Dead Redemption 2, Spider-Man on the PS4. We've had the re-release of Shadow of the Colossus. We've had the re-release of Spyro. There's been a lot of good games.
There's been a
out.
lot of remasters this year.
Yeah. We had a lot of remasters
Pretty
a
good.
couple of years ago, and they're
Pretty
back.
fucking good.
But there's been a death. There's been a death in the gaming world.
There's been a lot of deaths.
Telltale have shut down. Is the one that comes to my mind.
Telltale has shut down.
Telltale shut down, which has brought up a lot of things because
I generally couldn't give a shit because I've never enjoyed Telltale games.
yeah.
The only Telltale game I ever enjoyed was it was the one about the wolf. It's like
The Wolf
the
Among
fairy
Us.
tale one.
The Wolf Among Us.
The Wolf Among
Yeah,
Us.
that
That
was
was actually a
good.
really fun game.
It was a good one.
Because
I
it
have
wasn't
to,
just Telltale going, "We like Batman,"
yeah. I will say I did
or
re-
"We
I
like Left 4 Dead."
yeah. Well, Walking Dead, not Left 4 Dead. If they made a Left 4 Dead one, I'd fucking play it. But I will say I did like the Walking Dead series that they were doing. But Telltale shut down halfway through to the final season, and so that's left a lot of questions. There is word that that Telltale may reignite, or another company may reignite it and finish off the Walking Dead series. But that was a big thing that happened, because this is a game that's been going, like, the original Walking Dead season 1, I think it released in like 2010, 2012, around that time period. Like, it was sort of like halfway through the second console generation, or right at the end of the second console, the previous console generation. It definitely wasn't the second one, and so people have been investing in that for years and years. And whilst I really like Telltale, they didn't make the best games, but they were good at telling stories. I'll give them that. They were good at telling stories.
Their games. I've never been able to enjoy many of their games. There's only been few games I've been able to enjoy, but the ones that they have played, they tell stories.
Yeah, and they're good at it.
Ironic coming from Telltale.
Yeah.
They tell a tale, but
it's not so much a game, is it?
Their stories immerse you. You pick a path and you go down that path and you go.
I will say
oh,
the moment that I had to like the end of Walking
Dead. I killed Batman.
Yeah, no, but I will say it right. I will always say the Walking Dead season 1, the very end of that. I mean, this might be a bit of a spoiler, but you die at the end because you get bitten by a zombie. But you grow up with this like the entire game. You've got this little girl with you, and like you've got little Clementine. You've been teaching her. Yeah, it's been right at the start.
Clementine.
Yeah. It's right at the start of the apocalypse. Like you and her have both come from the you're on that transition period from civilization to like the beginning of the Walking Dead. You know, because you look at Walking Dead now, zombies have been around for years, it's like, everyone's used to it. This is right at the start, you don't know what the fuck you're doing, and you two are learning together, and at the very end of the game, you have to decide, does this little girl shoot her father figure or not? And I'm not ashamed to admit it, that entire sort of last 20 minutes, I was crying, I was sad, because I bonded with the characters, and like, I genuinely cared.
Even though that it's people always take into the kind of like, but if you get bonded attached to his character quite a bit, it's just sad. Like, why? People do the same thing for TV. Why can't it be the same thing for the game?
Yeah, exactly. I've always
get attached
to
a certain character that you see it yourself, or you see
project
someone
yourself
close
on.
to you, and then you see them go through the shit, and you're like, no.
Mm-hmm.
And then when if they die, that even if you're like fucking stone cold Steve Austin, you're like the fucking bullheaded most don't give a shit dude in the world, you still can fucking cry at seeing someone that you can see yourself in.
About.
Yeah, even if it is a character.
Yeah, I mean, like, end of Red Dead
And that's what
Redemption,
they always did
the
right.
first one.
They
the
made you immerse yourself in the character and then see it go through the shit.
But their life,
it
felt like you were, because there was sort of a joke where decisions didn't really matter in the games, but I feel like even though it's a game, the decisions don't really matter, things will balance themselves out, you still feel like you've got to make a choice. And because, especially the fact that because there are some games it's like, you got to make a choice, but you can wait there for half an hour and the game won't move, and it'll be like, right, okay, let's think about this, this guy's evil, but he did this, and this guy's good, but he did this.
Exactly.
In Telltale, you've got a timer. You need to make that decision, and yeah, you can pause the game, but I feel like you forget to do that. And so, like, you make these decisions in split seconds or in a few seconds, or you can do nothing, and shit just goes wrong. and everything just goes to shit, and you feel like you've made the wrong choice, or you want to go back, and it's that feeling of immersion that just, like, fucking hell, you know? It's that feeling of immersion that get people into games, and people who love movies or stories or stuff, I always say, pick up a Telltale game, because they're the kind of games that they can tell you a good story, but the controls aren't complicated. Whether you like or hate Telltale for that, you've got to admit the controls are very simple, and it's easy to get into a Telltale game if you enjoy
That's
it.
one button, and you spend the next 20 minutes regretting your choice.
Yeah, honestly, it is. Like, it doesn't matter. But then even when it feels like, oh, the choice was for nothing, you still feel that pit of like, it's like, I couldn't have saved that person either way. You know, you still feel guilt for the characters, and it upsets me that we're gonna lose that in Telltale, and that we're not gonna have that connection anymore because they're not there. You're not gonna get.
And there is a lot of games that do the aspect of Telltale, which is like, if you do something, it changes the rest of the game. Or you get attached to a certain character, and one character might
Detroit
not.
Become Human comes to mind as one that came out this year that really made me
Dragon
connect
Age.
to characters.
Dragon Age
that's
series
a good one.
is another thing that has a lot of that aspect. But Telltale will always be remembered as the dudes.
Yeah,
There's always guys. There's the runner-ups, but Telltale is the cake in.
We literally.
What's that? Oh, you like the character?
Yeah. Like, it's gotten to the point where Telltale.
Well, it's killing your son.
Yeah. Well, it's literally like people call it the Telltale genre now, don't they? It's like, oh, Detroit Become Human. Oh, it's like Telltale. You compare it to Telltale, and like they're gone, but it's sort of like that cliche. They're gone, but they won't be forgotten in the gaming franchise and the gaming industry because of everything that they did. And I was like, this has been going on for a while, but Telltale, honestly, sorry to see you go, man. It's been fun, and I'd like, fuck you for making me cry at a game. Like, one of the only games that I've ever cried at. I like, people say, oh, I cried at this. There have been 2 games that I've cried at. I will not say the second one for my own sanity. But
that reminds me of Telltale, in the fact that it's not a case of the game changes drastically if you do something, but you get majorly attached to a character, and then it fucking just punches you right in the face with, yeah, but fuck you.
Yeah.
Is Doki Doki Literature Club. That game
God.
It's notorious for just being, oh, what's that? You like that character? Well, she's dead now. It's because
she
of
literally
you.
hanged herself, and you.
She killed herself because you said you liked her. You fucking asshole.
Yeah. But at the same time, that like Doki Doki Literature Club, if you haven't played it, again, I like it a lot because it's very much got this sort of visual style of like the whole, oh, it's a Japanese visual novel. It's anime.
It's a Japanese visual novel. It's look, oh, it's so cutesy. Everyone's all nice and lovey-dovey.
And it's got this like, oh, that character's got big boobs.
But she also gets abused.
Yeah, but it's got this sort of cloak of like, oh, it's all pink and Japanese and anime style.
It's all pink and
these
cute.
girls,
oh, there's the shy one. Oh,
yeah.
she likes.
But it's also got that like, oh god,
she gets
you play
abused in it. And then it's, oh, what's that? You sold that poem in piss.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
And then
that's not normal. Oh, you're stabbing yourself now. Okay, that's really cool. Thank you for this. What the fuck?
And but it's also got the style, like, you know, the whole like style of, oh, they've got big boobs and short skirts, and it's what it's like. You feel like you're into it, but if someone walked past you and saw it, you'd have a lot of explaining to do. But I love it for that.
You think then, what are you doing? Oh, shit. And then the whole game turns in your head, and you're like,
yeah.
Hey, wait a minute, come back here.
Yeah.
You know.
What the fuck?
You fucking seen the shit?
Yeah. But like, I love it because I think the reason I like it a lot is because, on a very serious note, that it touches on very taboo subjects. you know, especially with like the fucking Logan Paul situation now. You know, suicide's very taboo, and obsession and abuse, and like self-doubt and anxiety and depression, and obsession. It's all very taboo. You're not allowed to talk about that. You can't talk about that. What are you thinking? And this game is like, you know what? I'm not only going to talk about it, I'm going to go to the top of the Empire State Building, have a megaphone, and sing about it to the world. And you know what?
I'm not only going to talk about it, I'm going to fucking attach subwoofers to my car, attach a microphone to it, and railroad it into a library.
Yeah. Like, it's just... It's a great game. It is an amazing game that came out.
It's a great game.
But it's also terrifying.
It's also terrifying, and my favourite part about it is Doki Doki Literature Club was made by the guy who was notorious for making troll Mario makers.
Yeah.
His claim to fame was before Doki Doki Literature Club, and the fact that he made some of the most asshole Mario Maker levels.
I mean, you look at, like, what was it, super hard, or, like, the extreme difficulties, more than likely you'd see one of his levels in, like...
You'd come across one of his, and it'd be the one where you waste about 40 lives on. You'd say that, like... Frick. You fucking frick.
But yeah, I will say commendations to him, because it is, like... I'd say it's not a game that you want to just go pick up. Like, if you want to play it, that's great. I'd say play it because the guy needs publicity. I want him to make more games like this. Like, not necessarily in the visual novel style, but that
not necessarily as in Doki Doki Literature Club, but along the lines of it. Because he's
that
really
essence.
good at making something that
will stick with you.
Seems normal, seems regular, and then... fuck you.
It's amazing. I think it is great, but
it's a great game.
Yeah, but I'd
say
say
it fucked up for a couple of days though.
Yeah, it really did. It had me screwed for a while because some of those poems were just yikes. But it's one of those games where I'd say
I know, right?
I would recommend
like Monica.
Yeah. But like, I'd definitely say like. I would recommend this game, but I would recommend it with a massive discretion, saying that like this is a great game, but you need to be prepared. If you're if you are fine with these dark themes, if you are fine with these things going through your head and being exposed to things like anxiety, depression, suicide, abuse, on these really deep levels, on these massive scales, then do it. But I would say if you haven't seen it and you want to play it, don't see it, because although we've spoiled all of it and there's a lot of shit, there is still shit that we haven't spoken about, which I don't want to talk about, because if you want to play it, go in without knowing any more than you've heard about the game from whoever's recommended it or this podcast or whatever, because even if you know about the small little things, they will still hit you very hard, and they will mess with you. But yeah, so
exactly.
that's the depressing bit. So
yes.
what other games have come out this year? Spider-Man PS4, that was very good. That was very
Spider-Man, holy shit.
The web
that
was a great game.
Your boy. And I love how he was voice acted by one of the greatest voice actors.
Oh yeah.
I love his work. He's been in a shit ton of games that I absolutely admire, and I'll always look up the characters. Voice acting, but like, who is that dude? Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
Again. You know, and it's a case of he suits it. He has that the voice and personality of what you want Spider-Man to be: quirky, young, sarcastic. You know, he's supposed to be that young teenager that takes the piss out of everything while getting shit done.
Definitely.
And that's why when you watch the Spider-Man movie, and you love the acting in it, but then there's that essence that's missing. It's because he doesn't have the personality.
Yeah.
Like, even the best Spider-Man was obviously, fuck, what's that kid's name?
Which one?
The first Spider-Man. It's fucking Spider-Man.
Oh yeah. Fuck. I'm gonna have to Google this. Spider-Man cast. I'm about to Google this real quick. What was it? Tobey Maguire. That was his name.
Tobey Maguire.
I knew it was Toby
Yes.
something. Tobey Maguire.
I knew it was Maguire as well. I knew Maguire.
Should have put that together. Should have put that together.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, Tobey Maguire was, even though he's the best Spider-Man in movie sequence, he's still not the best Spider-Man in the case of, he doesn't have the personality of Spider-Man. He has the ability to be Spider-Man, but not he isn't Spider-Man. And when Spider-Man PS4 came out, and
Yuri Lowenthal.
Yeah, when Yuri voices him, you get that clear image of, yes, this is Spider-Man.
Yeah, this is Spider-Man.
You hear him speaking, you hear him acting, you hear him like, and you go, Spider-Man.
Yeah.
He
it was
acts like how you want Spider-Man to be, and that's what you want in the Spider-Man game. You want the controls to be fluent, swinging in combat.
Oh god, it feels so good.
But you want the Spider-Man to be Spider-Man.
Yeah.
You don't want to play a game and think, this is the dude pretending to be Spider-Man. You want to be playing this game and
Like,
thinking,
if you saw that guy outside the game
Wow.
just walking on the street and he wasn't wearing a Spider-Man outfit, you'd think he's in the wrong place. That's the kind of person you want playing Spider-Man. And I think Yuri can do that.
You want the kind of guy that if you only hear his voice, you turn around and go, wait, what the fuck is Spider-Man?
Yeah. I will say, I do have one minor complaint about Spider-Man PS4. The crimes get repetitive. And this is a complaint I've had about Spider-Man
the crimes,
forever.
and I actually had this, the crimes weren't the biggest problem, because there's always been that case of, open worlds, they have a tendency to repeat stuff.
Yeah.
Stuff gets repetitive, but
When you're making an open world game,
that
you want to
makes-
have stuff to fill it.
there's a lot of filler stuff.
It's like
But
having the
you can't
Oreo
do
without the cream. You can't do that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But what got me annoyed was the Mary Jane fucking levels.
Oof, yeah.
Why?
I got used to them because I'm alright with the stealthy stuff. I'm fine with that. But even me.
Stuff, but Mary Jane isn't Spider-Man. She's not a superhero.
I mean, the other guy. What was the name of the other, like the black kid that you play as? Even his missions were pretty good. I enjoyed his missions. I can't remember
Miles
his name.
Morales.
That was it, Miles.
Miles
I feel
Morales,
bad
yeah.
for not remembering his name. It's
Because
just
Miles
been-
Morales is Spider-Man. He's the second Spider-Man.
I know, yeah.
He's the one that follows after Peter. But fucking Mary Jane's Spider-Man's girlfriend. But they was like, but the developers were like, well, we gotta have something for females as well. So Mary Jane does stuff too.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I understand why they added it in. I feel like if they cleaned it up a little bit, it would have been fine. But it felt like a completely different game, and I was open minded to it, and I.
It just felt like you go from wee, whoosh, slam, boof, boof, back stick to I'm knocking over this toolbox now. I'm creaking around this corner.
Yeah.
Zap.
Yeah, I mean, like,
It takes the pace.
yeah, it was a good idea that was
Want
executed
to have
poorly.
something that runs pace.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good idea. You want to have parts where it's Mary Jane. You don't want to have parts of Mary Jane where it just Plus, they were all the same. It was always go from one side of the level to slowly sneak around the other side.
It was just like,
And
what
then
room
do
are you
something.
gonna be in this time? Oh, it's a museum. Okay. Honestly,
And
yeah.
in comes Peter Parker to save the day.
Yeah, well, I mean, of course he is. He's fucking Spider-Man. On a side note,
Spider-Man.
to talk about Spider-Man, on the film side, hello Infinity War! Where have you been all this time? Why have you not been here before? I fucking love you. Holy shit. I loved Infinity War. It was so good.
And Infinity War movies are great.
Oh god, not all of them. Fuck off, Thanos Scar.
Thanos car was great.
No, it wasn't.
Thanos and relevant Thanos cars, memes, were also great, such as Thanos Bunny. And one that I saw recently this morning, which I thought was fucking great, was Thanos Chungus.
Oh god.
I loved it.
Yeah.
So I wasn't expecting it.
Mm.
It was the one where there are pretty girls, and then there's the popular girls. I'm just here looking like a Infinity War theme plays. In comes Thanos Chungus, and I was expecting not that. I
Yeah.
wasn't expecting Thanos.
They
Chungus.
can be
Anything
good,
else.
and I just didn't like Thanos Scar. Some of the other ones are fine, but I didn't like Thanos Scar.
Thanos
But,
car from
yeah.
Broom. It definitely wasn't the best, but it was the fucking. It's how it just every time you repeat it. It's the same
Yeah.
as Big Chungus. Big Chungus is just Thanos car reenacted, and it's still funny because
It's the remaster. It's the
there.
year of the remasters.
It's literally Big Chungus is a Thanos car, and you expect it,
Mm.
but it's still funny because
Yeah.
you expect it.
Yeah, but
So
I
you're
was
sitting there and you're like, it's gonna be Big Chungus. It's gonna be Big
Yeah.
Chungus. Big Chungus. And you still laugh.
Yeah.
You still get a little chuckle in. It's like,
yeah. But
it's
I want to talk more about the movie itself because I think not only was the movie and I was skeptical about Infinity War because I was like, oh, that's a big cast of a lot of people. How are you gonna do this right? And they did it right. They split everyone off into smaller teams, and everyone got loads of character development. Scarlet Witch, hello, I like your character again because you've actually got one. Like, Scarlet Witch completely redeemed herself in my eyes, and I know people that don't like it as much, but I think she really redeemed herself. Vision got fleshed
Yeah.
out in a nice way, seeing him wanting to
Vision
be human.
actually became part of the movie instead of just
Yeah.
coming in and going, yeah, I'm a thing now. Oh my god, I killed Ultron. Yeah. Okay, I have space on inside my head. I am anything.
Yeah,
Done.
but
That's all that Vision did in the Avengers movie, and then Avengers Infinity War, and you're like, Vision does stuff.
yeah, it was, and I feel like every character who was important got fleshed out. But it was Thanos' movie, and it was always going to be. But
Yeah. Plus, everyone knows that they're gonna come back. No one is gonna. Disney is not dumb enough to make every lovable character in the game, including Spider-Man, die permanently. No one's
Although-
gonna kill off Spider-Man.
although I would say
Spider-Man
if
was the
some of them
best
do,
hero.
I would say that whilst I don't think they will, and I think it's a smart move if they do bring everyone back, I feel that like if there are some permanent deaths, where like if they're brought back but then killed, just
Yeah.
killed straight off, I think everyone's going to come back from the snap, and I think that everyone's going to survive. But I feel like if they do kill off some major characters, I feel like it might be a bit of a stupid move in the long
If
run,
they kill
but
off
I
some
feel
of the
like it is
characters,
ballsy.
it'll be because there are characters that do die in the comics,
Mm.
and there's characters that get killed off, then they get resurrected by magic,
Mhm.
and so
Yeah, it is. I can hear someone shouting in the background, so you can sort with that. I'll talk a bit about Infinity War, let George sort himself out. But what I loved about Infinity War, mostly, was how it was globally accepted. Because you have a lot of movies, Saw, Jason Voorhees, Fast and Furious, Mission Impossible, Matrix. A lot of movies that are very dedicated to fan bases, and they're there, and the fan bases are pretty big, but they're definitely dedicated. And they're fans that fell in love with those movies and stuck through them right from beginning to end. Whereas Infinity War has invited in people from every demographic and have made a movie that it's just widely accepted in such a way, and just it is one of the biggest movies of all time, I'd argue, especially for the modern generation, because of just the popularity that it created. And I will say that Disney, they've had a few mess ups in the past. I know that The Last Jedi was a bit of a dramatic thing, and people don't like Disney for a lot of the stuff that The Last Jedi did. But I feel like they redeemed themselves with Infinity War, and it came to stay. And it's going to be a movie that's remembered for years and years to come. So I think that it's going to be a good time. Is George back? No, he's not. So yeah. One thing I will say though, I don't like that it's called Endgame. The next movie. I think it's stupid that Endgame just seems like such an easy title, and it doesn't sound as great. Like you hear Infinity War and you have a certain feel to it. I feel like they could have done something with the next movie, so something like Avengers Aftermath or something along those lines. I feel like Endgame is just a bit. It didn't sit well with me, and people can have their opinions on that or whatever. But personally, I would have called it something other than Endgame. But there you go. Those are my 2 cents. But I mean, it's a little thing. There he is. Welcome back.
Hello. Thank you.
Yeah. So I actually filled that out pretty well the time you've gone. So Infinity War, great movie. I just say I don't like the fact that they've called it. I don't like that they've called the next one Endgame, but that's just my personal opinion. One more movie that I want to talk about before we get back to games, because I know this is a big thing in the gaming industry. Detective Pikachu. It's going to be a movie, and a lot of people, some people like it, some people hate it. I know the movie's not out, but the trailer's out, so we can talk about it. What do you think about it, George?
I think it's dumb.
Okay.
I think Detective Pikachu is just stupid. Pikachu's not a detective. He's that cute, lovable character that kicks the shit out of everything in the series.
Yeah. I mean,
Pikachu is supposed to be from 10-year-old Ash to 10-year-old Ash 20 years later.
Yep,
and
pretty much.
all the way in between, he just gets better and better until he gets to a new region where he magically becomes shit again, and then becomes better and then becomes shit again.
Pretty much, yeah.
And that's great, because he doesn't. It's not a case of like regular shows where he becomes really good, but then he gets introduced to more characters which are even better. So you get him again. Just a case of he gets good, and then stops being that good, and then gets good again.
Mhm. Yeah, I'll admit the trailer caught me off guard because I honestly didn't know anything about it until people started showing it to me. I feel that because obviously video game movies don't exactly have a good track record. Ditto Tomb Raider movie, ditto Mario movie, and Assassin's Creed. But I feel that with Pokemon being slightly more worldwide and slightly more accepted by the general public compared to Assassin's Creed.
Also the fact that it's had movies before.
Yeah, it has had movies before, but I'd say there was Pokemon movies that were made by the companies, but I feel like this is a slightly different ball game. I personally feel this is a slightly different thing, but I'm open-minded about it. I think that Ryan Reynolds, while not being the best choice, is better than some of the other actors that were up for selection.
I still wanted Danny DeVito.
I know you wanted Danny DeVito. I tried not to name any names.
I want Danny DeVito as Pikachu, because all I can imagine is Pikachu turning around and just shouting, "I'm the trash man."
You just want it for the memes, don't you?
I want Tiny Danny. Tend to be to Pikachu, right?
Here's
Well,
the thing,
and
here's the
taking
thing
away
with
from me, I
Danny.
don't like it.
Here's the thing with Danny, and I've heard a lot of people with this opinion. I love Danny DeVito. He is a comedy gold. He's brilliant. He is the trash man, and no one will stop him from making mac and cheese. Okay? But could I listen to him for an entire movie? Personally, I don't think I could. I personally don't think I could because of the memes and because of the internet prowess that he already has. Because I wouldn't be able to not hear those memes and those jokes. I feel it would take me out. Personally, it would take me out.
I think that's what would make it even better. Plus, also the voice doesn't fit Pikachu, which would make it believable.
I mean, Ryan Reynolds doesn't.
Because the Pikachu movie. Ryan Reynolds is picked because he's popular.
Oh yeah.
Ryan Reynolds is known for being a great actor, but he's not Pikachu. Neither is Dan DeVito. I prefer the Flashman than Deadpool.
Yeah, true. You know, what I sort of was kind of hoping for, and it's just like a personal thing because I think it'd be a nice nod, is if the voice actor for Ash would have been Pikachu, because I think that would have suited. Yeah, it would have been a bit weird to some people that know the show religiously, but like the voice suits Pikachu more than a grown ass man compared to a grown person doing a slightly high pitched voice.
The only thing that some people get annoyed about Ash it wouldn't make sense lore-wise, because in the actual anime, Pikachu had a voice.
I mean, yeah.
He said Pika Pika, but he talked at the end.
Yeah.
And one of the seasons, he has talked in one of the movies. And so, if they made it Ash, it would make it seem like they're just...
It's a bit more disconnected.
Like, the fact that, oh, Pikachu copied Ash. Which would make sense.
Yeah. I mean, it's a big debate that a lot of people have been having on the internet, and it's fair. There are arguments for everyone, for a lot of people that were the voice actors, but I'm going in open-minded, but I'm not necessarily going to watch it and think, oh, this is going to be a great movie. I'm just going to go in, have a look at it, and if it was shit, oh well, there's better ones, and if it's good, I'll be happily surprised. So, yeah. Right, that's like the little...
I'm definitely going to watch it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
If it's bad, then...
just to see a furry Charizard. Because that Charizard, I don't care what anyone says, that Charizard is covered in fuzz. It's a little peach.
Mr. Mime has already...
I'm already getting nightmares.
Like, already appears to be just a complete fucking freak.
Yep.
And then...
But I feel that works because...
It's full on...
Yeah. I feel that works because...
Towards the little sister.
Yeah. But I feel Mr. Mime is always that creepy thing where... It's just making sure they don't go over the line, but I think Mr. Mime being creepy is sort of important if he's going to be in the movie. But yeah, that's Detective Pikachu. That's like the little movie segment, tangent thing that we did. Thanks, Spider-Man. You got us talking about Pikachu. But there's one more controversy I want to talk about, and then we'll go into like the Game Awards, and then get into the year, and then I think we can finish this off because we've been here for like an hour and 40 minutes or something. And it is still New Year's Eve, and I kind of want to just have some fun and celebrate with buddies and whatever. But we'll get this done. Loot boxes this year have been a big, important...
Fuck 'em.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to talk about it before you can give your insightful and professional opinion on loot
boxes.
Yeah, 5 loot boxes, nothing good. That's a story for another day. But Star Wars Battlefront 2 came out this year. I'm pretty sure it was this year. I think it was because the big thing happened. And while I didn't play Star Wars Battlefront 2, the whole loot box things does affect things that I do like, and it's been a bit of a debate in microtransactions and stuff for a while. But basically, the long and short of it, Star Wars Battlefront 2 had loot boxes that would pretty much were deemed as gambling, because to be able to receive certain buffs or debuffs or better things, you would have to get your loot boxes or your drops or whatever they call them in that game. I don't know because I didn't play it. Because I've tried to avoid playing bad games this year, although I played Fallout 76, which I've already spoken about for like 40 minutes on this channel already. Yeah, I've already got a full like, we can get your opinion if we want, but I already made a full video about my personal opinion about Fallout 76.
Looking forward to that game.
I wasn't. I knew it was going to be shit, and I fucking called it.
I was looking forward to it because I'm a massive fan of Fallout.
Oh, I am. I'm one of the biggest Fallout fans you'll ever meet.
And then they come out. I know it comes out, and I'm thinking multiplayer Bethesda. That's what I've been wanting since Skyrim.
Yeah. But it didn't work.
So Fallout.
I feel multiplayer Bethesda is just one of those things where everybody wants. Like, I want a good multiplayer Bethesda, but it's something that it's so good that it won't work. I don't think it will work.
And then it comes out, and it's like, wait a minute. So let me get this straight. You're charging me 50 quid for NPCs that don't speak.
Yeah, pretty much.
What?
Pretty much, thing is, there's a massive split of like who we're getting into a 76 debate. We'll make this quick and then we'll go back to loot boxes. Like NPCs, some people loved them, some people hated them. I personally love them because you have people like Moira from Fallout 3, or Mr. Smiley from New Vegas, and like a load of stuff and stories and stuff that came from the NPCs that I loved about Fallout. That's not in 76, and it made me sad, and now I hate it. I really hate Fallout 76, and that might be the thing for me whilst doing this streaming video stuff. It might just be like, I always go back to how I hated Fallout 76, for a while at least. But it was just disappointing, I think. And I've made a full video on it.
And the only way Bethesda can redeem itself is by making the next Elder Scrolls game good.
It's gotta be. I think it will be good. I think it will be good. It's in, I don't know, do we know where it's set? Do we know what region it's going to be in?
There was a lot of hints about it a year ago, because there was a folder released by a higher ranking Bethesda employee about a thing called Project Greenheart, which people didn't take seriously because it was released before Nuka World and set in Fallout 4. But instead, like Fallout 4, the Automatron DLC,
Automatron.
It started listing Automatron. It started listing all the DLCs back to back, and people just thought, maybe people just put that down there and thought Nuka World it's got Nuka bots for that there.
Yeah, but
Bethesda released Nuka World like 2 weeks later, and they're going, oh, okay. And then Far Shores come out. That was on the list, and it's like, oh, maybe this is kind of legit. So people start looking into this Project Greenheart thing, and realized, well, there's never been a big Elder Scrolls game based in the Wood Elves territory. So there was a lot of controversy about how maybe the next the game is about Wood Elves.
I would personally love a game with the Khajiit or the Argonians, because I feel like having because in all the Elder Scrolls thus far, like especially from Morrowind onwards, like whilst they've all been based in different regions, all the main population of those regions have been humanoid. So I think having a game where you come across a load of lizards or cats would be interesting. I'd like to see an orc game as well. Dark elves, wood elves would be interesting. I just want a non-human one, which is I hope wood elves would be interesting. I think, but
wood elves would be great because the wood elves history is always interesting to me.
Yeah,
if you can go into that.
Elder Scrolls is one of those games where the only thing that annoyed me about Skyrim was
if you go into
books were
literal
books.
Of any Elder Scrolls thingy, you'll sat there for hours.
Yeah. Now all the I've genuinely Like, I want a good read. I'll go into Skyrim and get a book and read the fucking book. Like, you can do that. And I loved it, but it also kind of annoyed me because it was like, I want to read all of these, but I don't want people to see that I've got thousands of hours of Skyrim and then say, oh, I was reading. Because that's just going to look upsetting. So, like, I've already got plenty of hours.
I've got thousands of hours trying to kill someone with chicken.
Yeah. But back to loot boxes, pretty much. There's not much to talk about with loot boxes, but they're seen as gambling now, and there was a big controversy on because you can only get certain things or weapons or skins, and skins also bad, but definitely weapons and abilities you got from loot boxes and drops in Battlefront 2. It was seen as gambling because anyone who spent money on that had a chance of getting something good, but they were at a major advantage if they got it. And so the game got banned or terminated, at least the loot boxes did, in a lot of European territories in particular.
They got rid of the loot boxes.
Did
and said into the fact of, yeah, they got rid of loot boxes, but they changed it up with, right, just buy this then. Just buy Darth Vader.
Which I sort of, I kind of prefer that because at least you know what you're buying.
I thought it was dumb because you could use it. You could get some of characters with the in-game currency, but they made it so expensive that literally someone who played the game non-stop, from the start of beta until the end of it, was only able to buy the character in the last 3 days of beta.
Yeah.
And it's like,
it was a grind.
well, how is that even fair? Because you can't just make the game balanced by making it then so you can buy them, but they're so expensive you literally can't use them towards the end, and by then the servers are always starting to shut down and stuff, so people wouldn't be able to play it as much.
But I feel like now the game's out, just like saying like give it like it's similar to like the final thing I want to talk about before we go into the awards and our personal awards is to do microtransactions. But it's like I would prefer you to say £2 and you get this, or £2 and you get Darth Vader, or £2 and you get Boba Fett, or whatever's in that game.
It's like because of microtransactions and how the game is. But they did it smartly and making it that. Paying for skins. Paying for cosmetics.
Yeah.
Not for. It's not pay to win. It's not a game where literally buying this character gives you an advantage over everyone else. It's a case of buying this makes you look shinier.
Yeah.
Or you get to look like John Wick.
And this leads into my final like major controversy of gaming this year, right? And this will go into something that happened previously, but we're going to be talking about Rockstar and their Rockstar Online, because a lot of people would have played GTA Online if they're gamers and they've like been into Rockstar. And Red Dead Redemption 2 came out this year, and
Really?
it was good. It was like Red Dead Redemption 2 was quite good.
Game.
I think
Good
like,
game.
it was a good game.
Good
It
game.
was pretty good. No, it was an amazing game. And the online also came out, and this is not so good. I don't like it.
Into crocodile.
What I want to talk about, okay, an issue I've had with Rockstar is online, because GTA Online, okay, I've put a lot of hours into GTA Online, and if you want to have fun in that game, it's fine, it's a pretty good sandbox, but there is a progression in GTA Online to an extent, where, like, to get all the best stuff you need to have millions of dollars, and grinding in GTA Online, especially when using the businesses.
Bowling.
Yeah, especially if you want to do missions and heists, you need to have a solid team, and you need to be prepared to grind for hours and days and weeks to be able to get all the really good stuff in GTA Online. If you want to do your CEOs and stuff, assuming you've got enough to get a CEO business or motorcycle or nightclub, if you want to sell money in that game, you've either got to glitch the game out so you're in a solo lobby that's still online, or you got to hope that no one blows your shit up and waste about 5 hours of grinding to make a couple $1,000, or $10,000 or $100,000. that game was a bit of a grind, and I love GTA 5 as a single player, but the multiplayer it didn't sit well with me. And now Red Dead Redemption 2 Online has come out, and they've done something very similar. What they have is you can buy things in Red Dead Redemption Online with gold bars. These gold bars are basically the current, like, you exchange for real world currency. So I don't know the prices because I haven't played Red Dead Redemption Online, because I heard this was in and then didn't give it the time of day. But so let's say, for instance, it's like 10 gold bars to get this really nice shotgun, or to get a carriage or whatever's in the game. So to do that, you would either have to grind a load of missions or pay real money to be able to eventually get those gold bars. Now that in itself is a bit shitty. That's a bit dickish and whatever. The bit that annoys me personally is the grind isn't for bars, it's for nuggets. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong on this, like, don't quote me on this, but it's like 100 gold nuggets to get a bar. But when you when you do a mission, you'll get like 5 or 6 gold nuggets. And already you can see where the grind's coming in. So it's like, oh, I'm gonna have to do like 100 missions or 1,000 missions to get gold bars. And I'm pretty sure the microtransactions, it's like, get 1,000 gold nuggets for, let's say, 20 quid. But like, if it was like 50 gold nuggets for this, 50 gold nuggets for that, you'd say, oh, that's pretty good stuff. That's a pretty good value, because I know I'm giving money, but I'm able to get a lot of stuff with it. But if it's a case where it's like gold bar, like 100 gold nuggets for a gold bar, and you need 15 gold bars, you're gonna have to sink at least 20 quid into that, possibly more. I don't know the price of the microtransactions. This annoys me a bit, because I've always been an advocate of, I paid for your game. Like, if I want the accessories or the extras, like a skin in Fortnite, for instance, for a couple of quid, I might give you that. But if you're making me pay to to progress in your game, it annoys me, because I feel I may as well give them the 3 wacky digits on the back, and say, you know what, just rip me dry whenever a new DLC comes out or whenever new items get released. You know, just
I will give them the 3 numbers on the back and go, right, I want to win.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm not sure if you've got an opinion about this, because like...
I do, and I have an opinion on a glitch as well, in the fact that there is a current glitch going on where in the game you can fish, and obviously there's quality of fish, and selling that fish gives you money.
Yep.
There is a glitch where a stream that is too shallow, if you place a dead body in the stream, the blood attracts fish, they go into the stream, accidentally fall on land, roll towards you,
and you just get the fish and get a load of money.
Pick it up, and you get the fish for nothing, just putting a dead body in this part of the stream, and you get money. And that again ruins the part of grinding, because when you use money glitches and shit like that in games that require time for something in return, you ruin the game, because people who have sat there, grinded and grinded.
Oh yeah, I've been playing GTA Online for like 2 years.
And then you've just sat there watching fish
that.
fall at you, or you've paid money. You ruin it for everyone else.
It's not balanced.
Everyone else has to catch up. Everyone else has to deal with you having better stuff than you, simply because you abuse mechanics or you paid money.
And I hear the argument like, oh, like it's an online sandbox, and that's fine. Like, because like obviously, like I said, if you want to play GTA Online and you got friends, it's like, oh, let's do a heist, guys, and you could just fuck about, or oh, let's go to Pacific Standard Bank and just see how long we can survive the cops like coming at us from 3 different angles. That shit could be really fun, and I did that with my friends for a while, and it was fun. But like, there is like, people can deny it, but they're wrong. There is a progression in those games, and like obviously I don't know what they're gonna do with Red Dead Redemption Online, because obviously being Red Dead Redemption, the technology isn't gonna allow you to get a Hydra. But when you've got, say for instance, like someone say you can buy a Gatling gun on a carriage, and so you and a friend can ride around with a Gatling gun, and it does loads of damage, and it kills your horse, or it destroys your carriage, or whatever. Like, if you've got that roaming around just in the map while you're trying to just either grind or have fun, and it ruins your experience,
it's exactly
that's
the
going to turn
same
people off the game.
situation as people who are trying to play the game and who have new come in. Because obviously there's always been a situation of, if you're new in the game, there are people who have played more than you and have better stuff. That is fine. But if you're new to the game, but you're starting at the same time as everyone else, and naturally there are people who are already 17 steps ahead of you simply because their mum's credit card was available.
Yep. Or, like I've always said,
That removes the fun of the game.
the best way to
You're
play
sat there
Rockstar
trying to
Online.
grind like everyone else, and some dude comes across with much better shit than you, simply because
They sank money into
he
it.
gave up his college funds.
So here's what I would
And then
suggest.
it's like, well, you're ruining people who
Yeah.
do that with the game. And so
Here's what I would suggest, alright? If we all want to play Red Dead Redemption Online, and we all want to be equal, and we all want to have this SJW Red Dead Redemption Online world, here's what you do. You play the story, and you play the single player a lot, because the single player is very, very good. And I like it a lot, and I think it's great, and one of the best single player experiences we have in the modern day. And then, put the game down, get a minimum wage job, and then come back and buy for shit, and pay for shit on Red Dead Redemption Online, because that's what everyone else has done.
I actually disagree. I think you should have done what everyone should do is remove in-game purchases of
Oh yeah, that's like,
stuff.
oh yeah, don't get me wrong, that's like
You
the
do the
worst.
same thing as Fortnite did and make it cosmetic.
Yeah.
So
And
people
like
who
we
want to pay
know,
in the game, they only get cosmetic stuff, and they have to actually play the game to play the game.
yeah,
Don't just pay money and then play, and you just like stick out importance of what you want to do. Like
But it's like, that's in an
and stuff
ideal
like
world, but
Rust
we
are
know-
perfect examples. If you could buy guns and bases and shit like that, it would ruin the game, because the whole point of Rust and Ark is that you sink time into it and then you get rewarded. You can sink money into it and then don't have to sink time in.
you're not playing the game, you're playing the system.
You're not playing the game, you're playing with your wallet, and then
Yeah. And of
You
course,
can see that
we'd all
afterwards.
love for it to go like that, George. But we all know that Rockstar likes money, and you know Rockstar are gonna keep liking money.
Rockstar has never been the reliable source of.
Multiplayer.
Oh, you spent too much money in this game. Put in the wallet. Put in the wallet. We'll help you
Yeah,
out.
we've
It's
yeah.
a case of.
But the
what's
thing
that?
is, what I've
What's that? You want something? It's either a whole week of grinding, or you're giving us 20 quid right now.
yeah. But the
Yeah,
thing
that's
is, going back to GTA Online, if they instead of being like, oh, 2.5 million for a car or whatever, if it was like, pay us £2 and you get this car, I'd be like, yeah, I buy that, yeah, I buy that, yeah, I buy that, and like I would have spent hundreds of pounds, but I would have everything, you know. It's not a great system, but it's better than the one they've got.
You're not playing the game, you're paying the game.
Yeah, exactly. But that's my little rant. That's like the one gaming controversy that I really want to talk about, because a lot of, I'm not saying that Red Dead Redemption Online is a bad game. I'm saying it's a bad progression, and it's a bad single player. The multiplayer, it's similar to Fallout 76. It's bad if you're on your own. But if you want to fuck around with mates, it's alright. It's a good sandbox. Yeah, that's fine. Like, I've heard people praise the game and praise the online because they got friends to play it with. But like, if you want to actually progress in that game and do it on your own and the multiplayer, then it's going to be a bigger trouble. But enough about that. Let's go on to the final topic, because we've been here for 2 hours and it's about time we go home. The Game Awards. And the Game of the Year. The Game of the Year was God of War 4. But the multiplayer game
The
of the year
multiplayer game of the year.
was Fortnite. And did you want to talk about this?
Yes, I will gladly talk about how Fortnite should not be the game of the year for multiplayer. Game of the year for multiplayer is not Fortnite. Fortnite is definitely the most played game of the year when it comes to think that's not the best game of the year, simply because it doesn't have the content that deserves to be game of the year. The content is literally Battle Royale, but so many kids play it, spend money into it, that it's become famous. And that's literally its fame. It's just through kids playing it. And there is no lie in the case of a lot of kids play Fortnite. It is well-known fact that is a child's game.
Mm-hmm.
It is PG. It is, well, it's PG as it can be.
Yeah.
There isn't blood, but there's still fucking guns.
Yeah, but like it is designed to be like cartoony.
It's
and like
it's
not as
like
extreme.
it was the cartoon PUBG. And when PUBG died down, because there was a lot of problems with it,
Fortnite took up the mantle.
Fortnite comes along and just goes, oh, what's that? You like doing oh, PUBG's not working out well. Hey kid. We did the same thing, but funner.
Literally
Give us
using the
your
word
credit
funner.
card.
Literally using funner.
Yeah. If you give us your credit card though, because you know if you want to look cool, you want to look cool. You don't want to be lame no skin, right? no,
I'm a
you wanna
proud
be the
neutral skin.
epic. You want to be the epic John Wick. And luckily, right, Fortnite, it's not a bad game. It's not a bad game.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a bad game.
But there is a reason why it isn't a bad game. It's because it's basic, and it's easy.
So
And
what would be your multiplayer game of the year then?
my multiplayer game of the year?
Mm-hmm.
My multiplayer game of the year is a definite Rainbow Six Siege.
Did that come out this year?
It didn't come out this year, but it's still...
it doesn't have to, does it really?
The
No.
player base is still...
You know what? If they're
Yeah,
letting
because Fortnite came out
Fortnite
last
Battle
year.
Royale came out last year, so you know what?
Fortnite
Yeah,
came out
I'll
last
let
year.
you have Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah,
Okay.
Rainbow Six Siege came out a couple of years ago, but its player base is still growing. The game, it's still adding content. Then it's not. It's just an old game. It's still a worked on game that is still fun.
Okay. And obviously
I'd
that's
give it
your
Rainbow
personal.
Six.
I'm sure there'd be people that argue that Fortnite is deserving of multiplayer game of the year. But we can have that debate in the comment section of the VODs that I'm going to upload to the channel. And if anyone does want to come on and debate with George, we can definitely sort that out for another Let's Talk. But let's go on to the final segment of this little section and then call it a day. Game of the year. George, you've already spoken about yours with Assassin's Creed Odyssey, haven't you? And you've already sort of preached. Is there anything you'd like to, anything more or anything you'd like to rehash about Assassin's Creed Odyssey and why it is your game of the year?
Nah, I still like headshotting people from a bush
Nah, that is
and
just the game of the
then
year.
running 20 meters, running 2 feet away, and then going, where did he go? That is still just, it's a no-brainer.
Do you have a runner-up? Because I do. I have a
I
runner-up.
do.
You do have a runner-up.
I
Right,
do have a
let's do
runner-up.
it in the reverse order for you. So we know what your game of the year is.
Okay.
What is your runner-up? Why do you like it? But why is it not your game of the year?
My runner-up. Okay. It's an old game. It's an old game.
Okay.
But I mean, it's not. Alright, so it's not old as in when I was a baby. It's old as in it's been a couple of years.
Yeah. But I mean,
Stardew
if we're letting Fortnite in, then you can have it.
It's Stardew Valley because it received a lot of publicity and a lot of love when it first came out, but it's one of those games that even though a lot doesn't change, and it recently became multiplayer on PC, and they're working on Xbox and PlayStation 2, even though it's not got a lot of content, it's that game that you can just play, and you can keep coming back to, and you'll still love it. You can literally go away from it for about few weeks, come back to it and just go, this is one of the most wholesome games I've ever played in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is. You just sit there, bright light, bright colours.
Yep.
Bright personalities. Every character is different, and there's always one character that you can always get in tune with and just favourite.
It was actually my game of the year for 2016, and my runner-up for that was Overwatch.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But I would agree with you. My runner-up was Overwatch. So. But yeah, right. So, Stardew Valley. Alright, I'll do my runner-up first, and this is the runner-up that I played initially when it came out, but I've been playing it again recently because I knew that I was definitely doing this. Didn't know George was going to be with me, but thank you for being here, George, once again. But it's a game I've gone back to recently, and it is Vampire, my runner-up game of the year. And oh, I love this game so much. Vampire is one of those games where I feel like you get 3 playthroughs out of it. I'm not going to spoil the game entirely, I'm not going to spoil the story or anything, obviously. The Vampire, basically, you're a doctor, and you've just come back from the World War, the first one, and you get bitten by a vampire, literally like 30 seconds into the game. And so, you come back and you get hired at the hospital. But the way the game works is there are, similar to Shadow of War, there are set characters in the game. So there's like 15 or so characters per district, and there's 4 districts. So as you go through the story, you get introduced to different characters, and you can look into them and you sort of learn about them through quests that you do for them, or just by talking to other people. You may learn that, oh, this guy's an alcoholic, or oh, this guy's overworking. But the way the game works is you level up through XP, and a major way you can get XP is through eating people or drinking their blood. But the way it works, the more you know about a person, the more XP you get from them. So if it's just a stranger, you'll get, say, 1,000 XP. But once you've learned everything about them, you may get 3,000. But obviously, there are different endings to the game, and if you eat a certain amount of people, or the health level in the district goes down at a certain point, the district will fall into chaos, and everyone in that district will die. And basically, to get the best ending, you need to eat no one. But this means you won't get nearly as much XP in the game, and you're going to be at a major disadvantage. Meanwhile, if you eat everyone, you'll be in a major advantage in the game, but at the same time, you're going to get a really bad ending because everyone is dead. but yeah, I've fallen in love with
Undertale.
Quite like Undertale, yeah. Except, like, you can decide later if you want to kill someone, or, like, but every death will affect the characters in their social circle. So if you kill this person's sister, then the sister will go off to the streets to cry and then become an infected person of the flu, and then they're dead, and pretty much they're screwed as well. So every action has a consequence, and I think you can get 3 playthroughs out of it. Your initial one going for completely evil, and one going for all good. And the reason I love this game is it's easy to be evil. You look at Fallout 3, like, you need to go out of your way to do evil things. Whereas, in this game, like, to play the game in a good way and play it well, you need to be an evil son of a bitch. But the reason this isn't my game of the year is because the story, although it's interesting, it's not necessarily connecting, and it's not necessarily thorough and immersive. Whilst it's definitely enjoyable. You do, like, the sense of unrealism, while it works for the game's sort of themes and it works for the tone, it sort of does pull you out of, like, oh, you're just a vampire, and at any point you can just murder everyone and end it, pretty much. So it is interesting. But my game of the year, George, I think you'll know what this is, and I agree with the public. My game of the year is God of War. God of War 4. Best game of the year, I think. And I know, George, you loved it as well, didn't you? You really liked this game.
It's a great game.
Yeah.
It's about nostalgia.
Yep.
It's Greek mythology colliding with Norse. That's my favourite.
And the voice actor for Kratos, they picked it so well. They picked it so well, but everything about that game is amazing, I think. Like from the very beginning, from the very opening menu to the final credits, Kratos is on screen. Or, like, things are happening, there is no cuts in that game. The only cuts are the cuts that you make, whether you're pausing, or whether you're editing something, or whether you're going off to go to bed. That game, it's so cinematic, it draws you in. 30 minutes into the game, and I think you've had the best fucking superhero fight that's ever been shown in media. And yes, I'm including Infinity War in that. You get connected to the characters, you feel for everyone, everything that happens to that little Atreus, you feel, like, little decisions that you make.
And the game's lore flips your public view on almost anything.
It does. It's
With nostalgia, because you think nostalgia is, Thor's is really cool guy, and then this game tells you about like how the gods are asswipes.
Yeah, it really does.
You start to see why.
And the final, like, learning about, like, the main antagonist of the game and the connection that he has to characters, that's amazing. The relationship between characters is amazing, and the final twist at the end of the game, I'm not going to say it, but George, you know what I'm talking about. The final twist, with Atreus.
I do.
The final thing you learn about him, everything. Oh my, you don't see it coming, but it fits perfectly and it makes sense. It's beautiful. It feels amazing. That axe that you have, you feel powerful. It feels like an axe, and you feel like you have the strength. And it is the perfect follow-up to the God of War trilogy. It has everything you have in, like, when you played the original God of War, it was like the teenager, you know. Oh, you've got Aphrodite. You're mashing a button to have sex with a goddess and all that. But now Kratos has matured, and the gamers have matured with it. And the people who followed Kratos from the beginning have gone through that, and the new people are getting introduced to these characters, and it's all amazing. And you learn about Kratos.
My favourite part about it is the way it looks, the way it sounds.
Yeah, it is.
The way that Jormungandr, when he speaks, and it's just low vibration tones.
Yeah.
And you just hear it, and you just think, if I was there,
yeah,
you fucking batshit scared.
Yeah,
you've got this giant thing, just, you know.
And I've never been able to hear the word boy the same way again. Ever since playing that game, every time someone says boy, it ruins me. It goes back to Kratos. It goes back to that bearded man, that beautiful bearded man with the perfect voice actor. The God of War.
God of Boy.
The God of War, the God of the Boy. And Atreus as well. Learning about, like, because Atreus doesn't know, and he learns about the history of Kratos and his family and everything. And he gets cocky, and he's a cocky little bitch. But it works for his character, because if you were told you were a god, or your father was a god, you'd be a bit cocky. You'd be like, oh yeah, oh my god, I can do all this shit. And it works so well for the character, and I've fallen in love in it, and it's amazing. God of War, voted Game of the Year by the public and by sort of the critics and everything. I think it's the perfect game this year. And this has been a great year for games. We've had Detroit Become Human, we've had Spider-Man, we've had so many good games this year. Just Cause 4 came out recently. Red Dead Redemption 2, although I have, like, the opinions about its online, like, it still is a single player experience, an amazing game. Vampire is great and beautiful. You've had so many. House Flipper as well. The Return of the Obra Dinn. I'm going to talk about that game at some point in the show. Return of the Obra Dinn, amazing game. But none of them quite hit home as much as God of War did. And that, like, it hit me on a personal level. And my personal life and things I've been through, I can relate to that character, and I think that helps.
And Stardew Valley.
Stardew Valley as well, yeah.
That's an amazing game that you can just sink hours into.
Yeah.
And
it's
not God. It's not. Yeah, I mean, you don't want to sink hours into it, otherwise you'll come out looking.
Yeah, but still, it is a great game. It's an amazing game, And yeah, we've had our ups and downs this year. There's been a lot of drama. There's been a lot of controversy. But there's been a lot of shit with YouTube, gaming, the internet, politics, everything. It's all been up and down. But it's like, I feel like the way it's ended this year, there's been bad things, but the good has definitely outweighed the bad. And I'd like to end this year review by giving the year 2018, including the death of Stan Lee and Stephen Hawking and all that, I give it an 8 out of 10. What do you think, George? How does 2018 rate for you?
I give it an 8.6.
8.6 out of 10. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Year review of 2018, the final verdict, it's roughly 8.3, 8.4 out of 10. I've been RazorZone. Thank you so much for joining us for this second installment of Let's Talk. And if you want George to come back, then we can certainly do that. I think, George, you definitely suit the podcast. You definitely suit this style. It works for you. Yeah, George.
I wouldn't mind.
It's been lovely having you here. I hope we can incorporate you more into the whole RazorZone internet corner. But thank you very much for joining me. It's been a pleasure having you. It's been nice to sort of have a couple hours with you just to chat about things we love and hate. Thanks to everyone who's joined us in the stream. If you were here, thank you so much for being and sticking around for as long as you did. If you're on the VOD, make sure to subscribe to the channel to make sure you keep up to date with all my VOD live streams, all my uploads from everything I stream on my Mixer page, which is down in the description. All my social media connected to this will be in the description. Anything George wants me to add will be in the description as well, so you can find him. But ladies and gentlemen, I've been RazorZone. This has been George, the Turtle King. This has been the Year Review 2018. Until next time, just keep on keeping on. We'll see you later.